guys, what is going on in Zodiac? Today we are back with another episode of Musical Hideout, the show where we hang out with artists, musicians, and entertainers in Waylon Jennings' old basement studio. As always, I am gathered here with co-host Ryan Poole, who I will pass it to introduce the guest.
Well, hey! Now that we're talking about his radio voice, I'm like, I gotta have a radio voice.
You need it, right?
Hey, ladies and gentlemen out there! Tonight our guest is...
Oh, God. Podcast canceled.
Emily Summers, who last week's show I opened with, like, calling our guest Zach Ummers.
Yeah, we had an Ummers last week. Yeah.
And I realized today, and I was like, isn't it Ummers or Summers? It's close to that. I realized I was looking ahead to her thing and saying Summers, so I'm not an idiot. We had a Ummers coming.
Probably not. You're probably not an idiot.
Emily Summers is from Philadelphia, right?
Pittsburgh.
No, Pittsburgh.
Yes.
In my head, they're the same
error.
thing because I'm not from the Northeast. Sorry, that was you probably are enemies and
that's
rivals.
An unforgivable mistake you just made. So.
Okay. Well, I'm leaving, and you can have the interview.
Really starting off rough here, Ryan.
And she's a singer-songwriter. She went to Belmont University and moved away after a few years here pursuing an artist career, and then got the bug and came back, and I'm sure we're going to get into all of that later. And right now she's working on an EP, a double EP.
Yes.
Called Evening. Is it Evening and Morning or Morning and Evening?
Evening and morning.
Evening and Morning. Because the dark's got to come before the dawn, am I right?
That's right.
Was that the thought process? Nailed it.
Yes.
And she's actually just had a successful Kickstarter to record that, and we'll hear all about where you are in the process. And but before we get into things, what are we drinking tonight?
We are having Dark and Stormies.
Nice.
Yes.
With the Kraken Black Spiced Rum.
Kraken.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Dark and Stormy is black rum, ginger beer, and lime. That's it.
Like a Moscow Mule, but better.
And if you're drinking along at home, tonight we're using
New segment. Drink along at home with us, kids. Come on now.
At the sound of the chime, take a sip.
Oh my God. And this is how our podcast got banned from iTunes.
Fever Tree Premium Ginger Beer.
Yeah, it's one
made
my
with
wife
natural
likes,
flavors, including exotic gingers.
Oh my God.
Exotic.
So we're going to start today with a song. What are you going to be playing for us?
I'm going to be playing a song called Road to Livingston.
Okay.
This is going to be the first single off of my upcoming EP, Evening. So this song will hopefully be coming out within the next month or so.
All right.
Yeah. I want to be on the road to Livingston. I want to ditch this state I've been living in. No, I don't even know what's there, but I don't even think I care. I just want to go. I've got a tank full of gas and a radio, $40 cash in an older road. And by the time I see that sun go down, I'll be so far from that broken old town that I once called home. Now, darling, don't you cry that I'm leaving you behind. I will keep you there in the corners of my mind all the way tonight. On the road to Livingston. Now I would bring you along if I thought I could. Keep a piece of this place that I thought was good. But I gotta get a brand new start. I never meant to break your heart. I hope that you know. So darling, don't you cry that I'm leaving you behind. Dig deep those roots you've been growing all this time, and let me sever mine. On the road to Livingston. So darling, don't you cry that I'm leaving you behind. I will keep you there in the corners of my mind for this entire 1,000-mile drive, all the way tonight, on the road to Livingston. I wanna be on the road to Livingston. I wanna ditch this state I've been living in. And maybe you can meet me there in that sweet Montana air in a little while.
And we're back. All right. So you can't get that song yet, but you can get it when the stuff comes out in. Do you know when yet? Or approximately?
I don't have a date yet,
Might be a little
but
early
I
for
do
that.
have the guitar vocal done. And if you really want it, I mean, I'll send it to you. So.
There you go.
Yeah,
Hit her up.
exclusive.
Currency23 says she thinks you're really good.
Oh, thank you so much.
You got the stand back there. Okay, so we'll kind of start where we always start, which is just simply, how did you get into music?
How did I get into music?
Oh, which also, for the people who are interested, we'll have a link to the Kickstarter in the description below if you're on YouTube or the podcast. Right, Ryan?
Well, the Kickstarter is over.
Oh, it's over now.
But you
So
are
we'll have a link to...
welcome to go see it and watch the video. You can learn a lot
Yes.
about me. But
Okay,
I
so we'll
guess
have
if
it
you're
there so
watching
we-
this, then you already will.
Before we jump in to how you got into music, I just wanted to ask about that song.
Yeah.
Is that song special to you in any way? What is it about?
That song is, I actually wrote it from one of my songwriting classes at Belmont. It was a lyric writing class. And we had to go to the Frist Art Museum and just be inspired. That was our prompt. So I went and there was this photography exhibit and I wasn't really feeling anything. And then I came across this one that was called The Road to Livingston, Montana. And it was just a really simple photo of a dusty road stretched out ahead in front of the viewer. Really simple, and it spoke to me just because I've always been someone that's really restless and has always felt that desire to just like drive and just keep driving and not have a destination. And so that's kind of what that said to me, and I wrote that song about that song is sort of the fantasy of like if I were to just follow that desire and just like drive for no reason and just see where I end up, and or just like pick a destination like Livingston, Montana. So that's what it's about. I wrote it back in 2013. So it's the oldest song that's going to be on this project. Most of the other ones were written more recently, but we'll talk more about the project. But a lot of Evening and Morning is just about my personal restlessness and my doubts and wrestling through those types of things. So this song really fits well on that project. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. Which, by the way, I don't know if you got this stuff.
I didn't. I'm going to need a dark and
We
stormy.
got limes, we got rum, we got ginger beer.
Yes. All right.
When I was in art school, my degree's in audio production, but I went to the Art Institute and had to take some different classes in art. And they had a really similar thing where we went to a museum and had to like look at contemporary art and get inspired or whatever. And I remember that for me, that was like kind of an awakening, because previous to that moment, I had been somebody who, I think like a lot of guys, like you think modern art is stupid. You're just like, okay, cool. It's like three, concrete structures that look like squares, and what the hell is that supposed to mean?
Yeah.
Like, this is dumb, this isn't art. And I went and I ended up having a piece that I connected with in a really unexpected way. And in a really deep, I don't even want to go into it, it's like this like deep dark way.
I have a follow-up question about that.
It's like a family tragedy it connected with. And I don't know that that's even what they were going for, but it's just the objects that they used. And some people, they would have looked at it and just been like, oh, what a weird random assortment of objects. But it hit on my thing and I was like, whoa, modern art.
Yeah.
Art's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if you saw that same whatever it was not in a art specific place, just out,
Yeah.
would you be like, look at that art? Wow. Or is it just because of the location?
Yeah,
that it
you were
forced you
primed to
Yeah.
be thinking about things in a more.
Because if you see a painting on the
Yeah.
side of the road,
And, you
it's
know,
still a painting.
I could hear a modern art defender use those exact words to defend the art, like because we're showing it, because the I can't remember the installation space, we're creating a dichotomy of our everyday life and the world of art, and saying pushing the boundaries of what is art.
Yeah.
Well, in fact, that's what Dada is. Like when they had the toilet in, and they were like, they just put a toilet in a museum, and they tried to call art, and it was like an exploration of what art can be. And that was the art. Was that it wasn't art. Like
It was to get people talking about whether or not this is art.
exactly.
Yes.
And it worked.
Yeah.
Of
No, I'm
course.
not on the team of like modern art's stupid. But I think some modern art is stupid.
I walk that line. Yeah. I saw this one piece of modern art. It was there's actually an art museum at Belmont, the Lou Art Gallery. Man, I
Like the
hope the
Louvre,
person
but much more budget edition.
I hope the person who made this isn't watching this right now.
They
That would
watch
be
every
quite a
episode,
coincidence.
every single one.
But there was once I went there, and there was this piece that was literally it was just a cinder block on a stool, and it was
know
like
some kid got an A for that.
$1,000. I was like, what?
I could make
could
this
make
for about
this for-
$8
yes.
at Home Depot. A cinder block on a stool.
Yeah.
Like, what are you trying to... I'm actually at a modern art degree.
So when
I
you-
could make up some ridiculous shit.
So when you went that day, you were saying you weren't really connecting with anything, but then that one piece spoke to you. Kind of reminded me of that.
Yeah.
Did you have was that for you like a similar awakening kind of moment where like something spoke to you for the first time, or like did you already have an appreciation for art?
I've always had an appreciation for art. Yeah, it was just that particular exhibit. That particular exhibit, I just wasn't connecting with as much until I came across that one. I think because it was so simple and because there was so much you could read into it. The other pieces, it was like, this has a clear message, and I don't know if I can write something about this specific message that you're trying to show me right now. But since that one was so vague, and I think that's something that's really cool about art is when the more vague that it is, the more you can assert your own worldview onto it and discern what it means to you. So.
Okay.
So how'd you get into music?
Well.
Like such a profound thought for a ridiculous... Yeah. Yeah, no, I dig it.
Yeah,
For our
so
ridiculous show. Is that
Yeah,
right?
our ridiculous show. We've gotten deeper than that before.
You're getting a little profound early.
We usually get profound after like
down
half a
that.
bottle.
I'll just have my half and half dark and stormy. Let's see. I haven't tried it yet.
Probably tastes like rum and ginger.
Yeah, that's what it tastes like.
exactly
That's
what it
what it
is.
is. Where are those limes? Thank you, sir. Okay, so how did I get into music? Well, I sang in my church choir when I was a kid. I just kind of have been singing for as long as I can remember. And I started writing poetry when I was a kid as well. I loved doing that. And then when I was about 12 years old, my older brother got a guitar for his birthday. My dad got it for him. I think he was trying to live vicariously through him or something, because my brother didn't want this guitar. He wasn't interested in learning how to play. But my dad was
so
like,
cool.
Yeah, but it was my older brother's 13th birthday, and my dad was like, we're going to take you to get a guitar. And Sean was like, okay. So we went to this used music store and bought him this $200 Alvarez, and he never played it. We brought it home and he wasn't interested, so it just sat in his room and literally collected dust. But I always wanted to learn how to play guitar. So, but even though he didn't play it, he thought it upped his cool factor or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
sure.
So he didn't want
Of
me
course
to.
it does.
He
You
didn't
just
want me
carry
to
it around,
take it. I was
pick up
his little
chicks.
sister.
Sure.
Yeah. So I would always wait until he was gone, and then I would go into his room and steal his guitar and started teaching myself how to play in secret.
Oh.
And as soon as I did that, I started turning my poems into songs, and I didn't write very much poetry after that because every time I wanted to write, it came out as a song.
Sure.
So
Well, which is, I mean,
Yeah.
Poetry, music, songs,
Right.
whatever. It's all this blends together.
Yes.
Okay. So did you ever take any like formal lessons or just
I did
self-taught?
not. No,
Exclusively self-taught.
self-taught.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Thank
So
you.
when you were learning, did you like just hit notes, Did you, like Google stuff?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, so here's what's
how do you
funny.
do that in your own?
When I first started, the guitar was not in the correct tuning, like not even in the ballpark. And so I played this little, I just like plucked out this little melody and figured out a couple of chords with the tuning that it was in and wrote this little song. And then later I told this guy who was in my praise band at church that I was teaching myself how to play guitar, and he got really excited and gave me this book of chords, and that was kind of where I got started learning formally. It was just from that one little beginner guitar book, and so that once I got that book, I learned how to tune the guitar correctly.
Okay, that's
and
important.
Once I tuned it, I couldn't play that song anymore.
Oh,
I was so sad. But
Have you ever gone back and like transposed it to proper tuning now, figured out how to play it in modern?
No, it was my first song, so it was
Sure, it was a
not.
hit.
It was.
How old were you? How old were you? At that
I
time?
was 12.
12. Okay,
Yeah.
so you were little.
Yeah.
You were little. It's not like this was like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
You're like a full adult with resources.
No, I was 12, and I wrote the song about my best friend in Florida because we had moved back the year before. I lived in Florida for part of my childhood, and then we moved up to Pittsburgh. And so I wrote that song about my best friend in Florida who I missed. It was really cute. It's about my friend Danielle Gervais. So, Danny, if you're listening, I wrote a song about you once.
And she is.
She related to Ricky
No.
Gervais?
Nope.
yeah.
Do you know
You
who
make
that
that
is?
connection.
I do know who that is, but she is not related.
No, that's too bad.
I didn't think she was.
Sorry,
That was
Danielle.
just one of my stupid jokes,
Yeah.
as evidenced by the laughter. There's a laugh track. They'll hear it on the podcast.
Perfect.
You guys just aren't privy to it. We should have a live studio audience.
Well,
Just
Leah's
like-
here. Leah can park up in that bench. I think Corinne says she's stopping by.
Yeah, Leah should
give-
come in and sit at the drum set and just every time a joke is told, just put on. Yeah,
That could be her new job. Or we could just give her a mic for out there to laugh into.
perfect. Yes, a one-person laugh track. That's not
Yeah.
awkward at all.
It's just sad. Like,
And she can give commentary.
commentary on the show.
I think I hear her laughing actually through the studio walls. It's kind of funny.
Now we're all just listening for Leah.
Yep.
This gentle laugh into that distance. They say on cold nights you can still hear her cackling off in the distance.
Is that the ghost of Leah?
The
Passed?
ghost of Leah
Yes.
passed.
On a cold night? Well, certainly not tonight then.
Yeah, dear God.
Yes.
So in Pittsburgh, I know literally zero about Pittsburgh.
Oh, that's a shame.
Not even a little. Like, I couldn't even point out on a map, to be fair. I couldn't even point out the state on a map, to be fair. Yeah. Public
Probably.
education.
I'll bet you could. I'll bet you could.
Think so?
Yeah.
No.
You
I know the
your hands
general.
went to the right spot, depending on where the map is in front of
Where
you.
the map is, like, oh, right
In
here.
my mind,
Oh, it's right here.
the map. Okay.
This is the map.
Florida.
Okay, yeah, it's like here.
Maine.
It's like here.
I think that's pretty good.
That's pretty good, right?
Yeah, that's
pretty
about
good.
right. Yeah.
I know things. I have the knowledges.
So everybody at home listening to the podcast, jury,
I pointed it exactly out on the map first try.
yeah, everybody was blown away.
Yes, we pulled out a world map and he threw a dart.
Yes, spun the globe and just right
Yes.
there. So, because we're from a place where weather is amazing, which is San Diego, I always wonder, because moving here, the weather is a hot pile of garbage. Like, I just can't. I'm just never getting used to it. Is this an improvement over Pittsburgh, or is Pittsburgh, like, way worse?
Oh, man.
Those were
I
the
have
same
always
option.
said,
Is this
flip
better
a
than
coin.
Pittsburgh, or is Pittsburgh worse?
yes, like flip a coin. Heads
better.
I win, tails you lose.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or even better, maybe.
I have always said if I could have summer and fall of Pittsburgh and winter and spring of Nashville, it would be perfect.
Really?
That makes sense.
I love spring in Nashville. I love it so much.
But not fall.
And it's so sunny, and like when it's sunny, it's actually sunny in Nashville. When it's sunny in Pittsburgh, it's still mostly cloudy, but the sun just peeks
That's how I
through.
feel about Nashville.
Yeah. Really? Well, then, yeah, you've never been to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, no, I haven't. Not at all. But we're from San Diego.
Is the
so
summer
here
of,
it's like,
Pittsburgh
you know,
really nice?
Yes, Summer in Pittsburgh
It's
is
not a
beautiful.
swamp
It's
like here.
beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I think the Northeast has like good summers generally
Do they?
Yeah, and fall is so beautiful too. Like
They
this
have
is
better falls,
this is
too.
garbage.
because you get way
Really?
more
Fall
colors
right
and
now-
This
leaves.
is like the most amazing fall.
This isn't fall.
No, this isn't
right
fall.
now. We're not in fall yet.
Yeah, I know.
No,
but
it's
we
still
are
summer.
in fall in Pittsburgh.
Already?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think fall is supposed to start sooner, and even in Nashville, I think it has started sooner than this
Fall's
year.
in 3 days.
It's weirdly too hot, right? For
It-
fall right now, it's
yeah.
summer still.
It is
It's
summer for 3 days.
definitely summer.
Yeah.
It's taken me many years to come to terms with fall not really starting until November in
Oh,
Tennessee.
and then it's over like that.
And then it's over so fast. Yeah. I hate
Yeah.
it. I
You're
get
really selling
depressed
me on
every
not
October.
Nashville. You're really selling me on moving.
No, but in the spring, I get so happy. I just love all the flowers. And there is no spring in Pittsburgh. It's basically just winter, and then you get like 1 week where it's like starting to warm up, and that's usually not until the first week of April. Like March is absolute garbage. And then first week of April in Pittsburgh, it's like, oh, it's starting to thaw. It's like in the 40s, 50s, and then it just plunges back down. So for the like another 2 weeks in April, it snows again, and it
Second
kills all
winter.
of the blossoms, and then spring is just sad.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah.
no fun.
Yeah.
Currency says she thought it was always sunny in Pittsburgh.
That's Philadelphia.
That's Philadelphia.
Practically the same thing, right? I don't know. I just know one's got
No,
really
it's
good
not the
sandwiches.
same thing.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean,
How
they're-
far off are they?
Yeah, they got
3 hours,
They can't be that
maybe?
far
They
away,
are
right?
like 5 hours away.
How big is
know.
that state?
Bigger than you think.
Pennsylvania is fairly large compared to the rest of the eastern seaboard of tiny baby states and Maine.
I had no idea. I just, I
Yeah.
don't know. We talk about geography kind of a weird amount on this show, don't we?
Yeah,
Well, I guess
because
you always ask where people are from, right?
I do.
yeah,
It
so
always
they're
leads
from,
into something.
And also, I just don't have a lot of reference.
He has
I've
San
only ever lived in
Diego's
San Diego and I've lived
centricity.
here. And so
San
I love
Diego's
San
are
Diego.
it's a
amazing.
bubble. It's a bubble city.
It is. Yeah,
Nobody
for
wants to leave, and so no one knows about the outside world.
sure. Yeah, so moving here, I was like, what is this hellscape that I've moved to? And so I like hearing that other places are worse, but you really crushed that for me. It sounds like Pittsburgh's kind of nice. I don't.
Well, I'm not really a fan of the heat in general.
I'm with you on that,
I would
for
take
sure.
Pittsburgh weather. I don't know. It really is a 50-50.
Did you guys know there are people who like Arizona?
That's
Like, they think it's
bullshit.
good.
Yeah.
They're wrong. They're wrong. Have they been there? I've been there.
I don't know.
It's
I don't
not
think
great.
Arizonans are those people.
I've been to Arizona
Zonies.
only because I've been to Four Corners.
I've never been to Four Corners.
So you've
And
stepped
my,
on it,
my
kind of.
family actually played Foursquare on Four Corners.
Oh wow!
It was fun.
You guys
Was there
really
a
planned
line?
ahead
Like
for
a
your
lot of
trip.
people going?
No, there really wasn't. It was pretty chill.
I guess it's not a huge tourist attraction. It's
There's
more of a,
just a
hey,
lot
let's
of
go
people.
check it out.
Yeah.
That's really. I like the what state won? Do you remember?
Geez, I don't know.
Seems important.
That's a good question.
Seems like you'd remember.
Yeah, I really
Starting to
should.
doubt the veracity
It was
of this
probably
story.
it was probably one of my brothers, and that's why I blocked it out.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Screw you, Utah.
But that's cool. Yeah, actually, I do want to go to Four Corners.
That just
Yeah.
felt very NPR. The way we all kind of like gave like like our little intelligent laughs, and then like went to silence. Very nice. So tell us how you first
Ira?
got interested in music. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, so you learned to play guitar
Yeah.
from your stolen guitar.
Yes.
And Krinsky, if you're watching, Krinsky's my sister, and I kind of. When I heard your story, I was like, this sounds like my sister's alternate life, but where she just stole my guitar. Because I played guitar, and she would have loved to. She probably did steal it. She just didn't stick with
Play a few
it.
chords.
She can play a few chords.
Play a few chords. But she doesn't really want guitar. She wants to learn piano. But
Yeah, I really want to learn piano.
you're in a good place for it.
Yeah.
Nashville, the city of music.
Yeah.
Or so they say.
So I really identify with your older brother in the story, and I'm like slightly upset you've stolen my guitar. But anyway, go from there.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah,
Thief.
I mean, it was a good. I want to say it was a good 6 months to a year that he didn't know I was regularly teaching myself how to play. And then
Wow,
one
good.
day he
It's very
just like
sneaky.
one
Yeah.
day he just came home before I knew he was there, and I was playing a song, and he just like walked into the room, and was like, I didn't realize you could play the guitar. I was like, yeah. And then that Christmas he gave his guitar to me officially.
Oh, that was nice.
That's
like
a
a
nice
good brother.
He's
Yeah.
a better brother than I was. I probably
Yeah.
would have burned it or something. You're like, nobody gets it now. How about that?
Yeah, it was very sweet. Yeah.
All right.
And then actually I bequeathed it to my younger brother. He has it now because he wanted to learn how to play. That was a little bit later.
Did he learn?
In life. Yeah, he's pretty good. But he's in the Army now, so he's not playing a whole lot.
That guitar has been really good to your family.
Yes, it has.
Did the older brother ever learn?
No. No. But he was the reason why it was purchased in the first place, and that
he was just a
changed my
carrier
life,
of
I
the
guess.
dream.
Yeah. I mean, I started
bearer.
out playing saxophone in middle school.
Oh, wow.
And I was never good
You
at
got
that.
a real upgrade
Or
with
no.
guitar.
I started out, I was 6, I got a violin. That was my first instrument. I got a violin for Christmas when I was 6, and I played it for all of 3 days, and then my mother took it away from me.
Enough is enough.
Like, she bought it for me for Christmas, and I remember this so distinctly because it was when I opened up the violin on Christmas Day, it was the first time that I cried from happiness.
And 3 days later.
Like, before then,
That was-
I was always confused as a kid about how somebody would ever cry because they're happy. And then I got that violin, and it made me cry because I was so happy. And I was like, oh, I get it now. And it's just this beautiful moment. And I remember it so well. And then, like, 3 days later, I'm sitting on my bed playing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star on the violin for, like, the 1000th time. And my mom comes in and she was like, you're done.
Wow. Could you give us a rendition of what that sounded
I
like?
will not.
I imagine it's
Jerry's
like,
got it. That's a pretty good impression.
Your parents are just sitting there like, somebody stop her! Somebody! If you don't do it, I'm gonna do it!
My mom's having PTSD flashbacks.
wait, is your mom watching right now? Hold on.
Probably.
watches every
Probably. Hi, Mom.
Straight. Hello, Miss Summers. We're drinking Kool-Aid and
Yeah,
Kool-Aid.
that is it!
Pay no attention to the kraken on the table.
no one's ever said that before. That was the first time that phrase has been used in English.
You think?
Pay attention to the kraken on the table.
You think it's been used in other languages?
I think about that all the time.
Oh yeah, German.
First time a sentence has been
Yeah,
said.
when I say like some weird sentence or combination of words, and I'm like, I wonder if anyone's ever said that before. Probably
There's
not.
a entire. I don't know if you are an internet person, but
I'm
you
27 years old. I'm an internet
Do you know
person.
Reddit?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know. You'd be surprised. Some people get
No,
in here.
I don't use the internet.
But there's a whole Reddit dedicated to that. It's called
I
like,
love that.
first sentence or like first time sentence ever used or something like
Do they
that.
have a Twitter account?
Wow.
Probably.
Probably everything's got
Yes.
a Twitter account. But yeah, the
Do
whole
they have a
thing is
TikTok?
ridiculous.
Because I'm youthful and with it.
You're with it.
I'm with it.
Wow. I didn't know you were with it. I wish you would have told me.
I'm hashtag with it.
All right. So you're in Pittsburgh. You've learned how to play guitar. You moved
Yes.
down here for school.
Yes.
Right?
You know, you're doing an awful good job of following the storyline and not distracting us right now.
I know, it's
Why are
weird
the
if-
tables turned?
I don't know. Maybe I haven't drank enough yet.
Anyway, Pittsburgh.
Yeah. So you get down here.
Hey guys, I have another topic to talk about.
You're trying to imitate
Yeah,
me?
yeah.
I don't sound like that.
Doesn't he sound like that?
No.
You sound like
I didn't realize you were imitating him. I thought you were just doing another voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
No,
okay.
it was. It was just meant to be a mocking voice.
Wow,
okay.
rude.
Yeah.
Not even a good one. Jesus.
Yeah.
You know your impressions were shit.
So you were in Pittsburgh. Boom. I'm back on my game. I'm leading the story.
Hashtag
No, we're not in Pittsburgh. We're in Nashville now. She moved down here for school. Went to Belmont.
Yes. I went to Belmont.
How'd you like Belmont?
I loved it.
You don't have to say that just because I work there. I talk shit about Belmont all the time on the show.
I am capable of talking shit about Belmont
You don't
in
have to.
certain aspects, but I loved it. I loved
That's
it.
good.
I mean, the friendships that I made were, lifelong, and
Well, it's only been a few years.
just like
Yeah.
judge me. Fine.
Just wait and see. Let's see. Then let's see. When you come back again, we're like, so how about those friends? You still talk to all of them?
Fine. Point made.
You know, it's kind of funny that Belmont almost gets away with, like, when you talk about Belmont, people are like, yeah, but the people you meet when you get there.
Yeah,
like,
that's everyone's
the
like, that's
thing.
what they love.
It's almost
Well,
like Belmont
I
is
mean-
selling the ability for you to meet other people who would want to go to Belmont, and they're the kind of people that you should meet.
Yes, and that's But the classes were great too. I mean, I learned a lot there. I started out as a music business major, actually, and surprise.
Whoa, music business.
The other half are
And
nursing.
then,
But it is.
basically.
But for anybody listening to the show that doesn't know Belmont super well or doesn't like live in Nashville, that is surprising because they don't know anybody who got a music business degree because it's just
That's
like
true.
pretty much doesn't exist.
Well, they were rated the
Almost
number one
anywhere
music
else.
business school in the U.S. by
Yeah.
Rolling Stone recently, like
Yeah.
a year ago.
So like for us in our world, it's like music business, oh, typical.
Right, that's true, in
but
our
for
bubble.
no one
Yeah.
else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally no one else.
Yes. So I started with a music business major, and then after my first year, decided I just really wanted to do the songwriting program. When I went in, I was trying to be more practical. It was like, I'd like to get a job in the music industry and also pursue my own artist career. And also, of course, the knowledge that I would learn about the industry through that major would help me in my artist career. But I was watching these people in the songwriting program, and I was really jealous, and I was just like, I just really want to do that instead. So I switched my major, and I don't regret it. I think it's funny, though, when I tell people I have a degree in a bachelor's of arts in songwriting, and they're like, oh, how's that working out for you?
Yeah, they act like you said basket weaving.
Right, literally.
So let me ask you a question, since you have personal experience in Belmont. So I meet with students a lot, and they're all wonderful, if anybody of them are listening. But sometimes I meet with students, and I go, and they're like in songwriting or a music major, and I'm just like, you're not gonna make it. Like immediately. Did you run into a lot of those students in the actual program? Because I could just be
songwriting
harshly
program?
judging them.
Honestly, no one comes to mind. Everybody that
Everyone's
was
pretty solid?
Yeah, and I know that like when I was doing the program, it was still fairly new. I think it was about 3 or 4 years old when I entered into the songwriting
Oh, wow.
program.
It's really
So it
new.
was very new, and they only accepted like 20.
Okay, it might be a little different. I don't
So-
know. I know very little about Belmont academics. I just work in financial aid,
Yeah.
so I don't know much about that side.
But no, everybody that was in my songwriting classes was really talented. Yeah.
Okay, well that's good. Except for that one person.
Okay, there
right?
was-
I
okay.
knew it. There had to be at least
No,
one.
it's not a person. It was a class. I forgot about this other class that I took. It was I think it was called Fundamentals of Commercial Songwriting, and it wasn't a part of the songwriting program. It was
Okay.
just an extracurricular
Elective.
songwriting class,
Okay.
just an elective. And so that was filled with people who were songwriters but weren't songwriting majors, and so couldn't take the songwriting classes. And that was a really big class, and it was very rudimentary. It was like, this is a rhyme scheme and this is song form, things that the songwriting majors just like came in knowing. Like we didn't talk about things like that in the songwriting classes, but in that one class it was just very basic, and there were a lot of people, and there were some in that class that I was like, oh,
It's cute. It's a good try.
yeah.
Okay, so you went there for 4-ish years.
3.5.
Oh,
So
damn.
I graduated early.
I don't see that very often. I see a lot of students. That never happens.
The songwriting major is pretty easy. I also came in with quite a few credits from high school.
That helps.
So, yeah.
That's good.
Now, in the songwriting major, is there like a refrigerator that they put your work on and like a series of gold stars they give you for completing assignment? Is that was your
that how
grade in
easy it
gold
is?
stars? I graduated with the songwriting major with 4 gold stars.
4 gold
No.
stars?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
No,
With a 4
it was
gold star
just-
average. GSA.
Say
A
gold
4.0
star average.
GSA.
It was just easy because like the commercial
Leah
music
in the other
majors
room, by
had
the way,
it so
is
hard.
would love that major. Leah, if you don't know, Leah loves gold stars. If you just next time you guys hang out, bring her a gold
I
star and she'll
will.
flip.
I'm so excited to do that. It's gonna happen.
For the podcast
Yes, gold
listeners, she's
star for
cackling,
helping me with my
laughing, and
Kickstarter.
clapping in the background.
Yeah, we can barely hear it through the wall.
And for the podcast, Leah is somebody who's helping,
She's been on the
working
show.
with Emily
Oh, yeah.
on her Kickstarter
Yes.
and
Yeah.
friend.
But you guys know Leah. She's been here. We've talked about her.
It's true. But
You guys meaning
new
them,
new people.
not
Yeah,
you
they're
guys.
like, who's this person we keep talking about laughing in the background? Yeah, she's watching in
this
our viewing room.
Ethereal
Oh, wow, we have a
figure.
viewing
We have a viewing room.
That's fancy.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, we didn't know we were so upscale.
yeah.
That's nice. So after Belmont, you graduated.
Yeah.
What did you do?
Oh man, this is where shit goes down.
Okay.
This is Yeah, so I started working at Cracker Barrel as a waitress, and that was fun. Can you sense the sarcasm?
How many people completed the triangle while you worked there?
Completed the triangle
You know,
Game on
the triangle
table.
game.
Everybody can do that. It's so easy.
on the apron.
But get the genius level.
yeah.
No. You know on the table how every Cracker Barrel
Oh, the
triangle.
triangle! Yes, I know 3 different ways of how to
It's
finish
so
it.
easy, Ryan.
I haven't seen you
never
get the
done one?
genius
You just
level.
gotta
I've beaten it, but not the genius
You have
level.
to
Yeah, always.
memorize
You don't beat it unless you only have one left.
Yeah, no.
Otherwise, you just lose. There's no genius.
Yeah,
level.
there
It's
No,
win.
it's
they-
you
they
win or
mark
you
it.
lose.
They
Yeah.
mark it.
They do.
Yeah, maybe for people who can't figure out how to win.
But if
you
you
get
get down
five,
to
you're
2,
okay.
no, if you get down to 2, it says you're pretty smart.
which really means you're dumb as hell.
If you get down to 1, it means you're a genius.
I think I've gotten pretty smart, but I haven't
You've
gotten
never
that
gotten one?
genius. I don't know. I don't
It's
go to
really
Cracker
easy.
Barrel that often.
No, I think if you have 3, it means you're just
in the
plain
context
dumb.
of the story, going to Cracker
It
Barrel
goes-
means you're at your darkest moment. Go on.
just for reference, for those that may not know, it's this triangle peg game where you have to like skip one peg over the other, and then you remove the middle one, and you have to like strategize and get it down to there so that there's only one peg on the board. And written on that pegboard is a ranking of, depending on how many you have left, what you are. So if you have 1 left, it means you're a genius. If you have 2 left, you're pretty smart. If you have 3, you are just plain dumb. 4 or more, and you are an ignoramus.
Oh,
They
wow.
purposefully misspell ignoramus to
I don't even
ignoramus.
know how you could have that many
But
left.
it's like the Chinese checkers of
Sherry.
the South.
There's only like, what are there, 15 pegs? Like, there's not
I
gonna be
think
like
there's
4.
20.
Let's see, it's 1.
No, let's see. It starts with
3.
there's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
So
I think that's
9,
20. I think you're right.
12, No, maybe just 15.
Maybe it's 15.
Maybe it's 6, 5, 4, 3.
Let's
I
see,
don't
5
know.
plus 4 is 9, plus 3 is
Just telling
12,
you, when you're
plus 2 is 14,
when you're
is
just
15.
really deep in it, enjoying your catfish
Yeah, it's 5.
Meal,
Actually, you get the country fried steak.
catfish fried
obviously.
steak.
I've only eaten at Cracker Barrel twice in my life. I don't know that much about it. But I do know I beat that game for sure.
But everybody
First
who
day.
moves here from somewhere that doesn't have Cracker Barrel, is
Everywhere has
instantly-
Cracker Barrel.
Not the West Coast.
Not the West Coast.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
never had it. I've only ever had it twice, and both times in Nashville. Then.
Yeah, everybody
Never
from
seen
the
it.
West Coast is like, we have to try
Fascinating.
Cracker Barrel.
Wow.
That's like them coming to San Diego and be like, we gotta go to Denny's.
Yeah.
We're like, you don't though.
They have Denny's in Pennsylvania too.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah,
Which
see,
Which
Moves
is,
over my
am I
hand.
right, better than Waffle House?
I don't know.
Leah has given her opinion. She is emphatically agreeing that
Waffle House is the
Waffle House
low
is
rent
inferior.
version of
But
Denny's.
there's a certain
I don't know.
charm to
There's something
Waffle
about
House.
Waffle House. Yeah.
Like, you can go in and spend like $3 and they'll like fill your
Yeah.
entire table with waffles or some shit.
You go in there at
very
3 in the
good.
morning, just
Yeah, and then you get like the
Yeah.
chocolate chips from the waffles. They dump like half a bag of chocolate chips just on top of them. Like, it's not great, but it's like $3.
yeah. Denny's
Waffle
is
House is trash.
objectively better, but it's apples and oranges.
I think I prefer Waffle House.
There are times when I want
Waffle
Waffle
House.
House, and there are times when I want Denny's.
In both, you're hammered and
Correct.
just need to get home, and you just don't want to throw
Waffle
up.
House is 2 in the morning when you're still drunk.
Yes.
Denny's
That's
is
if you're
the
hungover.
next, noon the next day.
Yeah, you're just trying to survive.
But Denny's can fulfill the role of Waffle House and be the late night place too.
Only where Waffle House doesn't exist. That's why we had like punk rock Denny's, right?
I don't know.
That's
I've
where-
never
that's
done
where-
late night Denny's. That's not a thing I've done.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, where we're from, Denny's isn't considered a good restaurant, so you go there and like, so fucking put that everything down about you. It's like where we're from.
Oh.
Denny's is considered a basic restaurant. Yeah. What restaurants do y'all have? Chili's, Applebee's,
all the high end,
all the
stuff.
good stuff. Oh right, there's a southern version of Chili's.
What? There's
Shoot,
also a Chili's.
Leah would know. Dang it.
There's a Chili's like 2 miles from here.
Yes, there is, but there's southern version. It's something like
Southern version of
I can't remember. It's like O'Reilly's or something.
That's
That
auto
exists.
parts.
But yeah, it's not O'Reilly's. It's some,
O'Reilly's.
tonight's
Auto
episode
parts.
was sponsored by
Hashtag not
O'Reilly's.
sponsor, yeah.
Yes.
We should hit them up for a sponsor.
That's a
What?
good
Oh,
jingle.
Charlie's.
Oh, Charlie's.
Oh,
I did eat at
Charlie's.
Charlie's. It
Yeah.
was not very good.
Why
Chili's
is it the southern
better.
version of Chili's? It's just owned by the same people?
Well, when I'm okay, when I no,
Chili's-esque,
probably
I
not.
guess.
When I moved here, I didn't know that there was a Chili's anywhere. Like I never saw it versus back home, like there were people went to Chili's kind of a lot. A lot of my friends did.
Yeah, there's
So-
like 3 Chili's in San Diego. I guess it's just a common place.
Yeah, I just never saw one around here. Now I know kind of where one is. I've never been to a Chili's here,
Yeah, literally,
weirdly.
it's right next to where Corinne
But-
worked over at Thousand Oaks.
I thought we didn't have Chili's, and then somebody was like, "We're going to Charlie's. It's kind of like Chili's." And then I went, and I was like, "This is kind of like Chili's."
It's more like
so in
Applebee's,
my
though.
head,
Yeah.
probably nobody else thinks that. But to be fair, Leah knew right away what I was talking about. So maybe I was
well,
too
she
big
knew
for it.
after you said O'Reilly's.
That's true.
That's true.
And also, you've probably told her the story 9 times.
Charlie. They should
It's not
consider that
Chili's.
song.
No,
Yeah.
it's not. It's worse than Chili's. I've only been there once, to be fair, but it sucked.
I don't
Sorry,
know if I've ever
O'Charlie's.
been to O'Charlie's.
It's more like
cannot speak
Applebee's.
into
It's,
this.
if you put Applebee's below Chili's, which I do, because objectively it sucks. O'Charlie's is about that same level.
I just kind of put them all at the same.
Really? I consider Chili's like a fancy Applebee's. It's like I don't want to spend like $8 for a steak. I'll spend like $9.50. You know what I mean? We'll go like a little bit better, you know. And then you really want to go big, you go Olive Garden. Oh, that's when you really bringing out the big 20s. You know what I mean?
The big 20.
What about Outback Steakhouse?
Oh, I like Outback. I think that's
like
actually
Outback.
good. Yeah, it's like Black Angus.
Outback's at that threshold.
Yeah,
where everyone
Outback's
can be
fine.
okay with
Yeah, I'm
Outback.
fine with it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they're not bad at all. Anyways, User Go Hideout.
Okay.
The restaurant
Now I want a steak.
restaurant rating
Now I
podcast.
want a
Restaurant
steak.
rating podcast. So, you were born in Philadelphia. And
Pittsburgh.
Just kidding.
Like, how many times do I need to correct
most of your
this?
days. Yeah. Pittsburgh. Do you have a similar awesome song?
Like Philadelphia.
Yeah. Every time I hear Philly, I'm like, West Philadelphia, born and raised. Do you have one?
Dang.
Do you have a song?
Oh, I don't think so.
There's got to be one,
We don't
right?
need a song.
There's so many artists.
We are cool enough without a song.
What are like this?
I don't know anything about
slang
Pittsburgh.
terms for Pittsburgh. Like Chicago's Chi-Town. What's Pittsburgh have?
The Berg.
The Berg?
The 412.
The 412.
Yeah.
Sounds like there's definitely a stoner who's written a song about that.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. There's 412 songs for sure. There must be.
Well, yes, because
Berg.
the 412 area code has been phased out. So now only special people have the 412 area code. If you are a true Pittsburgher,
Area code elitism.
you have an area
still-
code 412.
Name of the episode.
I'm very
Area code
proud of
elitism.
my area code 412. Yes.
So you have a 412, and you're
I
never
do.
changing it.
I will
there
never
forever.
change
Are
it.
there like big stars or famous people or famous bands or artists or
Just give us something. So
like
we don't think it's a
hometown
pile of
pride of
garbage.
Wiz
Pittsburgh?
Khalifa
Wiz Khalifa?
is from Pittsburgh.
So he's probably got a song about the Berg.
So is Brad Paisley. Brad Paisley probably has
yeah.
one. Yeah. I almost ran over him once
Oh,
on Lower Broadway.
like on purpose?
No.
There he is.
No, it's my
Go to hell,
21st
Brad.
birthday. I was
Ooh.
driving.
I feel like you shouldn't be driving on your 21st
Well, I was
birthday.
driving to the bar
Okay.
with my boyfriend at the time,
Didn't pick you up?
and
You guys aren't together now?
no.
What a dick. He should have picked you up. It's your 21st birthday.
You right. You right. No, I was driving down Lower Broadway, and I was going to BB King's, because I'm not a huge country music fan, which you may not know from that first song I played. People tell me that it's very country because it has songs. It's got like Dusty
Rural
Road
things.
and yeah, it has rural type
Also on
lyrics,
your, I
but-
listened to a couple songs from your other album on the way over here,
Oh yeah.
and they had like country instruments. They had like mandolin, right? And violin.
Yes. So
Yeah.
I have a string player who plays violin and mandolin, but we're getting off track.
As we do.
I almost ran over Brad Paisley on my 21st birthday. I was.
Wow, you're really good at this show.
Yeah, stop bringing us back to my music career. I want to talk about this anecdote.
We're sort of a game, and the first you have to like try to win, and you're doing a great job. You're like, wait a minute,
Thank you.
I was saying something important.
Thank you very much. Thank
So,
you.
21st
yes,
birthday.
So 21st birthday, I'm driving down
You don't
Lower
remember when I
Broadway.
turned 21?
I was expecting that. I'm ready for you. 21st birthday.
beginning to
I
anticipate.
was driving down Lower Broadway, and yeah, I saw Brad Paisley just like jaywalking. He was jaywalking. He
What are
walked
you
in front of
doing,
my
Brad?
car. He had his like white cowboy hat, signature thing, and everything. He was like on purpose in Lower Broadway, looking like Brad Paisley. Like, he went out because he was
He was just feeling
I'm gonna
low
go
about himself.
be Brad
be in the
Paisley on
public.
Lower Broadway, yes. And I almost ran him over, and then I tweeted at him, and he didn't respond.
Oh. You heard it here first. Brad Paisley endorses jaywalking. He's all for it. Anarchist. Okay.
But it's fine. Brad and I have a mutual friend.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, Lance Van Dyke. He's my producer.
Lance Van Dyke.
He manages the Castle Studios. He's head engineer and manager of the Castle Studios in Franklin. He does a lot for Brad in his studio.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
He
I
also
am
used
one
to
degree
rent
of separation
that room.
away from a lot of famous people because of Lance.
Because of Lance.
Yes.
Lance used to rent that room from me.
That's right.
Did you know that?
I did know that.
He's my B room guy. Also, with Chris, you've probably met Chris Rizovsky.
Yeah, Chris.
Rizovsky.
That's Lance's roommate.
Yeah, he's been on the show.
Yeah, Chris is awesome. Chris has been on the show. Yeah. And on our schedule is Chris's artist. Oh shoot, I forgot her name right now. Sorry to Chris. But anyway,
Wow.
one
Edit
of
that out
Chris's
later.
artists
Okay.
is coming on the show like next month, I think. Anyway,
Oh.
Something like that.
but yeah. So anyway, I know Lance as well. We all
Yeah.
know, and that's not how we got connected. Or maybe it is.
No, it is.
Did
Yes.
Lance introduce
so
you to Leah?
Lance is the one who connected me with Leah, and then Leah connected me with y'all. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm responsible for that because I met Lance first before Leah. I met Lance because he was roommates with my friend John, and he worked at the castle.
Yeah.
Leah's probably gonna in the other room wishing she could correct me, like, no, I knew Lance first, but she's not here, so yeah. You're here today.
I
because
wonder
of me.
if someone went through and listened to all of our episodes,
Uh-huh.
they could create this social map of singer-songwriters in Nashville, because we have
could.
this
There's-
discussion every episode.
Yeah,
There's
Oh, you know
someone
this-
out there who is that committed.
Is that into it?
Yeah.
we need that
The map.
person. I would love to see this map.
Super fan.
You'd make
It's
some
weird.
really interesting
with Alexander Wren
connections.
right in the middle.
And what's funny is now you do know of Alexander
Now I
Wren
know
through
Alexander
us.
Oh, I heard of Alex.
Even though you
Right.
didn't, you do now.
Now I
and you'll go
do.
listen to his episode,
Yep.
and you'll learn about SpongeBob, and
I am-
everyone knows Alexander Wren, and that's the theory of Nashville. That should be the Nashville game, 3
7
steps
degrees
to
Alexander Wren.
Seriously,
Yeah.
there really could be a Nashville degrees of separation game. Everyone is
Yeah.
talking about how they know these people through this person.
Yeah, and now I'm
Yeah.
connected to Brad Paisley.
Oh my god.
Wait, but not through you, through Lance. I'm claiming the Lance
Yeah,
degree.
you can claim Lance.
I'm claiming
One
that
closer.
too.
One closer.
Oh, and by the way, for anybody who cares, I have a Kevin Bacon meter
Oh my!
of 2.
How many times have you brought up
Oh.
Kevin
On the
Bacon
show,
meter?
on the show,
A few.
not many.
A few.
I have a 2. I was in a shitty movie that never got released with a famous actress who was in an actual movie with Kevin Bacon.
That's amazing.
So I've got a 2. That means that you both get a 3. 'Cause you know me.
Yes.
Yeah.
3 away from Kevin Bacon.
You're 3 from Bacon. Yeah, and it's really.
And I've been in. Wait, I might actually be less than that. I was in
Oh.
Perks of Being a Wallflower.
Whoa!
You were in Perks of Being a
I
Wallflower?
was.
That's cool.
You can't be less unless was he in
My
it.
wife loves that
I
movie,
don't
think.
know. Well,
If he
not
was
less.
in
I might be
Fox,
equal
what?
to you. If Emma Watson or Logan Lerman or Ezra Miller.
You probably have a 2. That was a big movie. You'll likely be a 2. You're probably share 2 with me. I probably didn't give you my 3
that's
stars.
great.
You're probably 2. We're both 2s. Jury's the only 3 in the room.
First of all, I'm a
Yeah.
2.
Because you can't
Because
be. No, you're not.
Yes, I was.
How?
But first of all, Foxhound said I remind him of Samuel Tarley. Which I've never gotten before. So thank you, Foxhound.
I see it. I see it in the. Are you Game of
I
Thrones
don't
at
know.
all?
Oh, I've only watched the first season.
Okay. Jury, talk in the accent.
I can't do accents, you know that.
Wait, I'm sorry, Mr. Snow. Oh, do that.
Is that your accent?
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. Sorry, Foxhound.
Yeah, you do. You were the same
Wait,
as Harley in
if
Nashville.
I've only seen season 1, do I know this character?
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's-
Was he in 1?
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
The-
Yes,
the
yes.
wall,
Friend
the
of
coward
John's.
at the
Yeah,
wall.
yeah. Okay.
Thanks, Foxhound. You calling me a coward? He's the true hero of the
Yeah,
story.
that's why
You're a
I'm
maester,
reminded.
Jury. You're a maester.
Oh. That totally threw me off. I had a whole nother thought. And I saw that and I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah. You were
Oh,
saying that you're a
another.
2-2. Bullshit.
yeah,
Go on.
because, first of all, I don't even know if it counts at all because that movie was never released. But they used.
It counts according to IMDb.
But I was in that movie playing guitar audibly because they used the song from the band we
This-
were in. And so technically,
You've
I'm
never
in
even
that
claimed
movie.
this before.
All
You're
right.
just now trying. Your guitar part was in that movie. It's a little tenuous. You
Oh, I
weren't
would
in the
claim it.
That's
I mean,
right, I can claim it.
IMDb doesn't show that, but anyway.
Does IMDb even exist for the movies?
It does.
Oh.
IMDb is, man, it's the source of Kevin Bacon information.
Oh, absolutely.
Anyway, everyone knows that.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, you were 21, you were trying to run down Brad Paisley for some reason.
Yeah,
See how we
yeah.
did that? You didn't even notice! You didn't even notice!
No, that was the end of the story.
Yeah, she almost
I was
did.
done. I was done. Or
That was
else
it?
I
That
would
was
have gotten
it?
us back on track.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did you want to do?
No, I just wanted to. I wanted to give
All right,
the.
Brad
I won't
Paisley?
put that on our side. It's
No.
still on your side.
The punchline is that he was jaywalking. I tweeted at him, told him I almost ran him over, and he didn't respond. That's the end of the story.
Oh.
It doesn't get better.
We need a better punchline, and I think we might provide one because we're putting this out live into the internet.
And they can
A
come up
cease
with
and desist letter from his lawyers.
Brad
my
does
gosh.
not endorse jaywalking.
I get a defamation claim.
It'll be great. Yeah, this will be a great story. You're like, and then years later, you're like, so I almost said him. I tweeted him. He never responded. But years later, I went on this podcast and I talked about how I got this letter in the mail of a cease and desist. And then, I don't know, it goes on from there. I mean, that might be okay, but I kind of
long
want to
story
see
As long as he
short.
gets a ticket for jaywalking.
you
Long
go
story
into
short,
court
I'm
and he actually shows
bankrupt.
up.
Please give me money. Yes.
So we should play a song, another song.
Yeah.
Let's
Do it. Oh, man.
I'm trying to keep on track. See,
Okay,
I'm
well,
on it today.
well, here's the thing. My other two songs that I have planned for tonight are a little bit more introspective, more
That's
heavy.
fine. That's
Okay.
fine.
So we're gonna move into a more serious realm.
That's fine.
Okay, so do you
We
want
can make anything
wanna-
not serious if we need to.
Let's see.
That's
all right.
true. We're
All right.
good
All
for
right.
it.
All right.
Do you want to like story intro into it? Did you have a
Or we can talk
plan?
about it after.
Should we get to your plan?
Or we could just say,
you
I
have
don't
a
want to talk
plan?
about it.
Oh,
and
I
that's
don't really
fine too.
have a plan. No, I'm here to talk about it.
Okay.
How about you pick which song you want to hear
The best
based
one.
on the title?
Wait, the second best one.
Based on the
Because we're leading
title?
up to the best one. Okay.
Okay. All right. All right. I'll play a song called "Fault Line."
Fault line.
Yes.
Fault line.
Like the San Andreas fault.
Correct.
Okay, so and is this one also going to be on those EPs, or is it already?
Yes, yeah. All of the
these that are
songs I'm
coming
playing
are coming
tonight
out.
will be on these
Okay.
EPs. That last one I played, "Road to Livingston," is going to be coming out soon. That's going
Beckson.
to be my first single off of the Evening EP.
Do you know Beck Sum?
That's my mom.
Well,
Hey, Mom.
she says hi.
Hi. And this one is also on the Evening EP. And then the next one I'm going to play later on is called "How Long." That will be on Morning, which will be released in the spring.
Okay.
Yes. All right.
Oh, mine is a troubled soul. I come and I go, I take and I stow my wisdom away to feel like I know anything. And I've got the vaguest of notions. I'm feeling a quake in the oceans. They're sensing my shaking devotion to what I claim to know. And I'm just a tree on a fault line, bent by the breeze in these faults of mine. So I fall to the sea, to the salty brine, and oh, down I go. Sweet, I'm sweet as a honeybee. Sugar on my hands, a sword behind my back, I take and I keep everything restless and free. But I've got the vaguest of notions. I'm feeling a quake in the oceans. They're sensing my shaking devotion to what I claim to know. And I'm just a tree on a fault line, bent by the breeze in these faults of mine. So I fall to the sea, to the salty brine, and down I go. Slowly I crumble through cracks in foundations not built for what's rippling out. And quickly I tumble to find my salvation's made peace with this crippling doubt. And I've got the vaguest of notions. I'm feeling a quake in the oceans. And I'm just a tree on a fault line, looking to find what's below. And down I go. Down I go.
And we're back. So that was Fault Line. Fault Line or Fault Lines? I want to make sure I get it
Line.
right. Singular.
Singular.
Okay, Fault Line. And even though you can't get that song yet online, where can people find you? Instagrams, Facebooks, Twitters,
Yes.
Spotify's.
Yeah, Emily Summers Music on Instagram and Facebook. And then on Spotify, just Emily Summers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So make sure to check her out. And if you're watching on YouTube, those links will be in the description below. And if you're listening to the podcast, they should be in the podcast description. So check that out.
Yeah.
BBQ256, that's going on BBQ, says, with many hearts, amazing.
Thank you, BBQ.
Welcome back, Ryan.
He speaks with many hearts.
Many hearts. Purple ones.
Purple
So
hearts.
we left off at you ran over Brad Paisley.
Yeah.
Let's try.
I think
your
it
best.
was a defense mechanism because you asked me about after Belmont, and then I was like, oh, that's when stuff started happening.
And then you played a song.
Is it because you hate country music?
It was unintentional, okay?
Now, what was the sad introspective song about?
Okay, here we go. So
We have more liquor if you need.
After college, I will most certainly. After college, I got really discouraged. I released an album called Not Nearly Home. It is on Spotify. You can find it there, or
You actually
on
currently
CD
have a whole
Baby.
album on Spotify
Yes,
right now.
that's the one. Not Nearly Home. It's an orange cover with like a willow tree, artistic depiction of a willow tree. But yeah, so I released that album in April of 2014, and I was really proud of it, but it didn't really go anywhere just because I never knew. I was just never really good at self-promotion, at marketing.
Okay.
And so, I mean, those things are just like essential to having a career in the music industry. So,
Sure. Especially now.
I wasn't seeing any progress with it. And I got really discouraged. And then I got this job offer to go back up to Pittsburgh and lead worship for a church. And they were like, yeah, we'll pay you like a salary. And I was like,
Ooh.
cool, I have student
That's a
loans.
lot coming from a church.
Hello, what?
Yes. Yeah. And you know, I was able to move back in with my mom and
Who's in chat right
pay
now?
off some of my
What
student
up, Miss
loans.
Summers?
So
We're like your bad influence friends, aren't we? Your mom's like,
We're like drinking.
I really wish you'd stop hanging out with those boys. And you're like, Mom, it was just a show I did one time. I don't hang out with them. She's like, I just wish you'd hang out with better people.
What about this guy Greg? He seems nice.
You're like, Greg's an insurance salesman. You're married.
I am married.
Your husband's name is Chad, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. You're like, I'm married to Chad. And you're like, but Greg's so nice. I don't know what like religion your family is like, but Greg's Catholic. He's a good Catholic man. You're like, I'm married to Chad. Just hang out with Chad a little bit.
No,
Sorry,
my mom loves
typecasting
Chad.
you at some weird movie. This is a show I've seen, I'm sure. It's maybe vaguely based on Miss Maisel. Do you watch Miss Maisel?
I do.
It's so good.
It's so good. Well, I was a Gilmore Girls. I'm like a diehard
I
Gilmore
found
Girls
out
fan.
recently it's the same creators,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard
So-
Gilmore Girls is great, but I've never seen it.
It was so good.
I've heard it's amazing, actually. Like,
It
no
is
joke.
amazing.
I've heard
See
from,
how
like,
good
from
we are with the
dudes.
sidetracking?
Yeah.
No,
You
sorry,
didn't
we're
even
pros.
notice.
We're
I love
pros.
it.
Because you're like, oh, Gilmore Girls?
Yes. No, I watched it when it was on the air. My best friend in high school, Jessie Blythe, we used to watch it together on the phone. Or we would watch it, and then we'd call each other during the commercial breaks and, like, talk about, like, oh, can you believe that just happened? You know? Like, while it was airing.
He's coming back. He's coming back. I'll call you back.
Yes.
I'll call you back.
Yeah, Lorelai and Rory. We would call from like the home phone. I would watch it in my mom and dad's bedroom because they were watching something else downstairs, and so I would watch it on their TV and like call from the home phone that was sitting next to the bed.
I'm sorry, the what?
The home phone.
don't understand
The
that.
landline.
Is that like a cell phone you guys kept at home? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah, the bonus
No.
cell phone.
Yes, my home phone number 412-835-6221. You can call my mom.
Is that still your phone number?
It's
You
yeah.
just gave
That's
out your home phone number on the internet?
That's an example of something we might edit out.
Don't
I'll
don't
forget.
edit it out. Don't edit it out.
I want to call
Call
Miss
my
Summers
mom.
right now.
Everyone call your mom. Everyone call your mom. Everybody. Go, go, go.
Can we get her on the show? We could.
She would love it. She would love that.
She said no.
Internet,
While
please
you're
call
at
Becca.
it, what's her address, social security number, date of birth? So we're just going to give away her
Yes.
entire identity.
Everyone get out a legal pad and
Please call
write this
Emily's
down.
mom right now.
No. What was I actually saying? Gilmore Girls. Yes. So I was an OG Gilmore Girls fan, and then when Marvelous Mrs. Maisel came out, I was like, okay,
It's so good.
gotta watch this because it's the same people.
Yeah,
so.
it blew me away. I didn't. I just didn't expect an Amazon Prime original to be that good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways,
good.
we can
Yeah.
roll
What were we saying?
it back
Oh, your
to the
song. The song, right.
The song.
You were at church going to give you a salary.
yes.
you could live with your mom.
So I moved back to Pittsburgh.
Who doesn't like Chad? That's right.
I really didn't want to leave Nashville. So this was like, and getting that job offer and moving all happened within 2 weeks. It was just a big unexpected life change. And started working for that church. I was there for 2.5 years. And I guess while I was there is when I started just having a lot of spiritual doubts and was in a place where I didn't feel like I could be honest about them. Because I was a leader, I was a leader in the church, and that church was very, I don't want to talk badly about that church because it's a great church, but it was very structured. It was very like, you get up at a very specific, church starts at 5 p.m. on Saturday night, and then at 11 a.m. on Sunday morning, and there's like a countdown. And so like you're there at 11 a.m. on the dot
Do they
on
start
Sunday
on
morning.
time?
Oh yeah. Like there's a
Never seen that.
countdown. So
That's a miracle in and of itself.
but it was very structured. It was like things got to stay within an hour. If it goes to like an hour 10, then maybe that's okay. But like it can't go super long because people will get bored.
So let me guess the structure.
Yes,
Hold on,
please.
let
Yes.
me
Yeah,
respond
you
real
have
quick.
a.
Foxhound
guess.
wants to know if
Yeah.
religion's a very big thing in Nashville. Well, it's the South.
Yes.
So-
In the,
yes.
It's in the Bible. It's in the Bible Belt, Foxhound. I don't know if you're from the U.S., but if you are, I just met Foxhound the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you are, you know what the Bible Belt is. It's yes, religion is very, very large.
Central.
Yes.
Yeah. It's usually not central on our show, but sometimes it is, because sometimes it's a part of people's story.
Nashville is a very weird little bubble, though.
Nashville's very different.
Yes, because it's like this.
This was in Pittsburgh, right?
This was in
you're talking
Pittsburgh.
about-
Yes, the
So-
church
yeah,
was
yeah.
in
But
Pittsburgh.
you said you had to get
So I have a
structure
guess. Let me structure guess.
Yes, go for it.
Okay.
I'm certain you will be at least 90% correct.
Okay, so there's a countdown.
Starts at 11.
But is the countdown 5 minutes? The countdown starts at 10:55, right? And then it begins at 11.
Yes. There was
Yeah.
a 5-minute countdown.
5-minute
yes.
countdown, yeah. Okay.
Classic.
Obviously. They're playing upbeat worship music in the background of the countdown. Am I right?
Of course.
Yes.
Okay. And then one song, person comes up and greets people and says, "Hey, everybody, it's great." Oh, but they don't have Southern accents because they're in Pittsburgh.
Correct.
Actually,
What
were they
does
that
Pittsburgh sound
upbeat?
like?
Because the one time I went to Pittsburgh, people were kind of like,
Sad.
yeah.
Pittsburgh's
went
a
in
little
the-
emo.
I went in the winter. Yeah.
A little punk.
I went in the winter. But anyway, maybe that's why.
Oh, cool. Fox.
So there,
Canada.
after one song, a person came up and greeted everybody. Yes or no?
Actually, we usually did the greeting before the song.
Okay.
Oh, before
wow.
the song.
Yes.
Before it's
Wow.
okay.
But it
Greeting.
would be like just a real quick like greeting lead into the song.
Hey, everybody, we're getting ready to worship our Creator today.
Yeah, let's get on our feet. Yeah.
Let's get on our feet. Get your clappers ready, and then we went into 3 songs. If you already had the
3.
thing.
That's it?
3. Somebody comes up at that point. Am I right?
I was gonna say-
It's
I was
3
thinking
and
5.
It's either
Five
no
is
no
the
no no
standard.
no 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 no. It's a 3 and done or a 3 and person and then 1.
It was a 3 and then a prayer and then 1.
I see.
Wow.
But the prayer was me. So it wasn't ever
Okay,
somebody coming
yeah,
up.
okay.
It was
Uh-huh.
just like worship leader does a quick intro, then 3 songs,
only
then a
4,
prayer,
20 minutes?
and then another song.
Oh yeah.
That's so short.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then it went. Okay, so go on from
Okay.
there. Yes.
Okay. Well, so we're done. We go straight into announcements.
Obvious.
Video.
Video
No?
announcements. Nope.
Did you have video announcements?
No.
Wow, that's a real. Your church needed.
Step up their game?
Did they not have the budget, or were they just like didn't
Yeah,
have
they didn't
the
have a guy with a
smart
laptop, like
No, they just.
Did they have a person do announcements?
Yeah.
like with their mouth words.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
I haven't seen that since the 90s. Okay. So right after worship, person comes up and does announcements, right?
No.
No.
Announcements
What are we
were
missing?
at the end.
What
Are you
happened?
forgetting the no? Because you tied
Announcements at the end?
Yes.
I've never
That's
seen
not
this
announcing
done.
anything. That's when everybody's walking out.
So what happened after the fourth and
Yeah,
final
so
song?
fourth song, and then it was the offering, which was always like,
Okay.
and during the offering, it was a special song. So
The special offering song. Got it.
Yeah.
Fourth song was the offering
the
song.
5th one.
The 5th one. Oh, so you had a 5th song and offering song. The people sit for that
Five.
one.
Right,
Five.
yes, people
Call
sit
five.
and they
You
just
said
like
call 5.
pay attention to it. You know, that was meant to be more of not like a congregational worship song.
Don't
but, like,
sing, listen,
Right.
and give.
Yeah,
Okay,
that was
go on.
where we could get like
I
creative.
said that with
and,
more vitriol than I meant. I've given money to churches many a time. Go on.
Yeah. So that so it was the offering and then the sermon. And then we'd get up at the end of the
hold on.
sermon.
Sermon's goal length was 40 minutes.
No,
Less or more?
less.
Yeah, see, it seems a little
Oh,
long.
35?
I feel like 35 is the standard, right?
I never heard a pastor
30,
talk less than
35.
40 minutes.
30
you ever
to
heard a pastor?
35.
We're talking goal line.
Yeah.
Goal
But did they do their goal? Depends
Most
on
of the
your
time,
pastor.
yeah, yes.
Sounds like they're on.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, they were, yeah.
Okay. Did the pastor
This is
wear...
a weird game we've
Did
never
the
played before.
pastor... segment.
Guess the church setup.
Did your pastor wear glasses they didn't need to wear?
No.
It's not a hipster church, right?
Well, it was kind of both.
Okay.
So I was brought on actually to lead worship for one of their new satellite campus, and but I ended up leading worship for the Saturday night service at the main campus.
Is it
and-
non-denominational?
Yes. Well, no. It was United Methodist, but
You're
it was
off on that.
kind of.
Okay.
It was United Methodist, but it really functioned like a
that changes.
non-denominational
No,
church.
I'm not. That was a clarifying question, not a
Okay,
guess.
okay.
If
Yeah.
it's not non-denominational, then that really throws off my guess. I've never been to a church that had a denomination,
Oh, really?
and I know that then there's a very different thing because you're
Mm-hmm.
dealing with organizations that have multi-hundred-year long histories.
Yeah. So there's
But
a
you
lot.
were you were like we're gonna appeal to younger people.
Yeah.
New satellite cool
Yes,
thing.
that's
So there was the
correct.
mother church that was a little more traditional, but you have the
Yeah.
younger church.
Yeah.
Now, when
Well,
we
she said
watched
she
your
ended up
video,
with a-
I did guess. Is your pastor about 45?
He's probably in his 50s now. I don't know.
Back
Oh gosh,
then.
I'm so
Back
sorry,
then.
Chris, if I'm wrong. If you're watching this.
Yeah.
It's just like, no.
I was guessing a 45. I was guessing 45.
I think he's a little older than that.
Like old enough that
Okay.
it's respectable, but young enough that he's a young pastor.
Okay.
Is that what you mean?
He's a cool guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have any more guesses? I don't know.
I don't know.
So it was 35 minutes, and then there was like...
Yeah, and then there was
two songs at the end and announcements.
Just one song at the end.
One song.
one.
Just
Right.
one to like tie in the sermon, you
Uh-huh.
know. Nice, like put a period on it with a sermon.
Put a period.
And then
Period with a song.
Or with a song, yeah. And then it was just announcements and a prayer and then out. So
Anyway, so your whole point was your church is like super structured.
my church was very structured, and so I didn't feel like, and it was a pretty big church too, and there was just like everything had to be done a certain way, and I just didn't feel like I was free to openly express the doubts that I was having. You know, there were things about that church, specifically about their theology, that I disagreed with, and I didn't feel like I was in a place to question it, because I do respect other people's theology. I have my own, but and this is getting into that song I just played. I hold
Well done.
every...
One more point on your board.
Yeah.
You
I
brought it
hold
back.
every belief that I have, you know, the imagery that I think of is that I hold them in my hand with an open hand. Like I hold my beliefs loosely. Yeah. I hold my beliefs loosely because, you know, who are we to know anything about the universe and God? Like,
Hold on loosely,
yes.
but don't let go.
Yeah.
It's fun having Lee in the other room.
Yeah.
Just get this
That's amazing.
But anyway, yeah. So I
You know
I
that's a
had
song,
these.
right?
I did not know that was
You're
a song.
too young.
Sorry.
We're not much older than you. Well, like,
How young do you think she is? I don't know.
it's from the 80s. Like it's like I wasn't
Yeah, I
there
wasn't
for
alive
it,
then.
but it existed. 38 special. Hold
Maybe we
on
are.
loosely.
I'm starting
Don't
to.
let go. Your mom knows it for sure.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
I've
Me
noticed
and
that a
Mom
lot
are
of
the
guests
same
we
way,
have,
like,
we are
song-wise.
often way off on how old they are. Oftentimes, we're like, you're about our age, and they're like, well, thank you, and they're like 70 or something.
But you said you're 27.
Yes.
27.
We're
We're
32.
31.
All right. Cool.
We're 32.
I'm 31.
We're 32. He is next month. 2 months.
2 months.
November. Anyway.
So I'm the same age as y'all. That's within 4 years.
Generational.
5 years.
It's within
We
the
just
same
know a
generation.
few more 80s songs than you do. That's it.
Yes,
That's the
Your
only
mom
all
says
difference.
she
it
can't
is.
believe you don't know that song. You just let your mom
got
down
it.
tonight on this show.
I knew it. I know. She's singing along at home right now. Me and your mom are on the same wavelength. We're
Here's
like,
the thing. My mom
into the
knows
retro.
all of the 80s
All the 80s.
songs
Heck yeah,
because
she does.
my dad was a radio DJ, a hit radio
Shut
DJ
up.
in the 80s.
What?
Yes.
Your dad's awesome. Why didn't you lead with this?
Yes.
You should start with that. Can we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should have introduced you as like daughter of hit radio DJ.
Yeah.
Barbara Brown.
Wayne
DJ.
Summers.
DJ
I think
Summers in the
it was so
What was his
we're
name?
sidetracking, we're going with
As
it.
we do.
So my mom and
1 point on our side.
my mom and dad met, and mom, correct me in the comments here if I'm wrong about this story, but I love to tell people this story. So when my parents met, my mom was a cocktail waitress in this bar.
Tell me your mom won 2 free tickets
And-
to Zeppelin from your dad.
No, my dad was DJing in the bar, and he came up to her, I guess after he was done, and said, "You're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen." And I was like, "That worked on you, Mom?"
I was just going to say, that works.
Well, that's pre-internet. Pickup lines were, not as accessible to the masses.
Not everybody knew.
You didn't know that they were corny.
he got away with it because he was the cool suave radio
Cool
DJ,
radio DJ.
So
It's like, I've heard you
Famous in
morning.
his town.
But it's super funny because whenever my mom is in Buffalo, this was in Buffalo, New York. Whenever my mom is back in Buffalo and she meets someone that's around her age, she'll be like, "Hey, do you remember Bearman and Summers? The that was like the name of the radio."
Bear Man.
The radio show, the
Okay.
morning show for the hit radio station was called Bearman and Summers. So it was my dad and then this other guy who went by Bearman on the radio show.
What time of day? Was it a morning show?
Like morning, yeah, like on the way to work.
Didn't you
Bear Man and
earlier,
Summers in the morning.
before
Yeah.
we went live,
98.0.
didn't you say you have a radio voice to jury?
I did.
This is a much more
I should be
qualified
a
statement
DJ.
now.
Yes,
A
I
much more
know. I
qualified
know about a
statement.
radio voice. My dad had a radio
I
voice.
should be a radio DJ.
Yeah.
That's true.
In a
But every
dime.
But so every time my mom meets someone from Buffalo who's
Yeah.
around her age, she's like, "Do you remember the morning show Bearman and Summers?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, I listened to that I used to listen to that every morning on my way to work." She'd be like, "I married Summers," and
You
they'd be
didn't
like, "Oh, what?"
Summer's
You
the
didn't-
hot one?
You didn't get the whole pickup line.
I
Your
didn't
mom's
get it.
corrected
Oh, give me the
you.
whole pickup line. I've been telling you
Said-
wrong.
Then he said, "The universe unfolded just so we could meet."
I forgot my
Wow. He went hard.
Wow. That is
Summers goes hard.
This is how I came to
Morning
be.
show.
Your
guys.
last name is Summers. He just
Right.
went by his last name.
Yeah.
it kind of I took it as like a first name in the radio DJ.
Like you're
Spectrum.
thinking like the Mikey Show.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like Bearman and Summers. Like I don't think
Yes.
Summers is his last name. I think like Summers is his radio name. Okay,
No,
makes sense.
yeah.
Makes sense. Are they still together now?
My dad passed away when I was in high school.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, songs. Songs. I don't want to jump
Going
ahead.
back to the
yeah.
I want
songs.
to jump ahead. Okay.
Yeah, we can circle back to that. Yeah. Okay. Where did I leave off?
So
I'm
you
at the
were,
church.
You didn't like how the rigidity and that you felt you couldn't question.
It was very structured, and I felt like I was. There were certain things about the theology of that church that I didn't agree with, but I didn't feel like I could say anything about it because I didn't. I was like, who am I to really know anyway? And
Yeah.
this is the church where I work. I've accepted this job. I'm leading these people. It doesn't like. I don't want to be misrepresenting the church by saying things, and so it became something where I didn't feel like I was a perfect fit at that church.
It's hard if you're
And-
like in the public eye in general,
Yeah.
and you're
Right,
part
but
of
you're
a-
literally the one standing there.
And if
that
they're
everyone
very
looks at.
structured, which structure, and if you're in the church world at all, it's like there's always a debate between structure and no structure.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like either one by
Right.
itself is kind of extreme, and it's like you
But
can't
it
really
just
do
depends.
no.
It's
It
hard
just
to find
depends
a
how
happy
you're wired.
medium.
Yeah.
I'm just not a structured person, and
Yeah.
that was hard because I was putting myself in a very structured environment, and I always wanted to be like, I wish that I could
You wanna get on a
do
road
a
and go live
different
in some Montana.
song instead of like doing the set that I planned. I wish that I could just be in the moment and go into a different
Yeah.
song, or just not. What I really wanted was to have the opportunity to get up on a Sunday morning or a Saturday night and say, like, guys, I've been going through a period of doubt, and like I'm just not feeling it tonight. Like I'm not going to pray, because if I pray, it's just going to be this obligatory thing that I have to do. So, and I'd rather not do that. Like I don't want to be insincere in my prayers. So like how about you guys just like pray with each other, or like maybe you can pray for me so that I can lead you better, but I didn't feel like I had
That's very
the-
loosey-goosey for a structured
yeah,
church.
and I just
Yeah.
didn't feel
That's
like I
super
really
loosey-goosey.
I
had
love
the
Yeah.
I love
ability
that.
to do that, and that was hard for me because I was wrestling with a lot of questions and a lot of doubt,
Yeah.
and things that I disagreed with in that church specifically that of course I didn't feel like I could question from the
Right.
stage. So
And you came in as in leadership, kind
yes,
of, right?
yeah,
That's
I was
really
hired
hard.
on. Yeah,
I did something sort of similar one time.
yeah.
It's really hard when you weren't like a part of it, and then you're like, this is my favorite place in the world, and then you became a leader
Right.
there. It's
Yeah.
really hard. You come as a leader and you're like have to adapt to.
Yes.
And you're like, I don't even know if I'm agreeing with how we do this.
Yeah.
Go on, sorry.
So
Just had to relate
But they
to
did
you
offer
for
to pay her a
second.
salary, which is huge for a church.
We
and they
love a
were
salary.
very and they were very discerning when they hired me to make sure that I was on board, but it wasn't until after I was there for a little while that I started to question some of the things. So like when I came on, I was like, yes, I agree with all of this theology, like I'm here, I'm 100% in, and then life
Yeah.
happens, people change, people question, people doubt, and that happened to me, and I just didn't feel like I was in a place where I could embrace that or be given grace for that. But I mean, I don't know, I hate to say that because I know I would have received grace if I had, but I just didn't feel like
It wasn't comfortable.
it just wasn't comfortable. And that's not why I left. My husband and I left because we just wanted to move back down to Nashville. But anyway, I was there for like the better part of a year. I was just spending most of my time on autopilot, like leading worship and praying these prayers that didn't feel sincere because I was going through so much doubt and so much turmoil inside of myself that I didn't feel like I could share. And I was just like, okay, like I just need to get up and do this. I just have to say a prayer for this amount of time. So here I go. And of course, like every time I would feel at my lowest, that would be a service where someone would come up to me afterward and be like, what you said in your prayer just really spoke to me. And so I know that like God was still using me even in the midst, like in spite of everything I was going through. And that's a really awesome thing. But when I left that church and moved back down to Nashville, I said this prayer. I remember I was driving.
About when was this?
This was April of 2017.
Okay, so not that long ago.
Not that long ago.
It's only like 6 months before I moved here.
Yeah, so like 2.5 years ago. It was shortly after I moved back down to Nashville, and I just was praying in the car, and I was like, God, I cannot pray another obligatory or insincere prayer to you ever again. Like, it just feels so wrong. And so I haven't since then. I haven't let myself feel like coerced into praying when someone like asks me to. I'll be like, you know what, I'm actually not comfortable doing that right now. And so I'm kind of proud of myself that I've
that's really
embraced
good. That's
that.
tough, especially when everyone's like looking at you.
I know. But once I left that church, I felt like I was finally in a place where I could separate, because I wasn't getting paid to be engrossed in spirituality all the time. I was free to take a step back and say, okay, like, I got to break down everything that I believe and figure out if these things that I believe are just because I've been taught to believe them, or I've been in an environment with people who believe them, or if it's really that I believe them at my core. And I started questioning all kinds of things like, is the Bible really the Word of God? Is Jesus really the only way to get into heaven, or however you want to phrase that? Does hell exist? And then all the social issues that come with the Bible, just questioning all of it. And I got to a point where I was hamster wheeling so much in my head with all of these questions that didn't seem to have clear answers. And because I was doubting the Bible and I was doubting my own ability to discern truth, like, I didn't feel like when I would pray, I didn't feel like I could trust what I was quote unquote hearing from God. I didn't feel like how can I possibly hear from God? Like, how is this not just me telling myself what I want to hear? So I didn't trust prayer, and I didn't trust the Bible. I didn't trust myself. So I had nothing. I had nothing to lean on when it came to discerning what was true. And I just got to this really dark place where I was hamster wheeling in my head about all of these questions I didn't have answers to. And it was causing me this crippling anxiety. And I had to just completely take a step back. And so I stepped down from the worship team at the church that my husband and I go to in Nashville, which is the Borderland Mission. It's a wonderful, wonderful church. But I was on the worship team there at the time, and I was
So
like,
you went from worship team to worship team.
Yes, but I was just like a part of the worship team. I wasn't leading it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I took a step down from that and avoided church for almost all of 2018. I just did like any reason I could think of to not go. I think I went like 3 times in all of 2018 because it was #triggering. But really, it was triggering. Like, I would step into the doors of the church and these praise songs would be playing, and I would think like, I don't know if I believe in that verse that was just sung, and I can't sing that because it would be insincere if I did, and I just cannot be inauthentic anymore. I can't be unreal about my faith anymore. It's too hard. It feels wrong. And so it just went to a place where my faith was like barely even existed. And that was this major identity crisis because I joined my praise team when I was 12. I was always a leader in the church for most of my life. And so taking a step back from that and not even knowing what I believe not even knowing if what I believe classifies me as a Christian anymore. Like, there were things that I was questioning that could be considered absolutely fundamental to the Christian faith. And so I was like, am I even a Christian anymore? I don't even know. And I'm not a leader in the church. I'm barely even going to church. So who am I? Like, what is my identity? And it was really hard. So I have gone through that dark period, and the fact that I'm able to talk about it without crying is a big deal. And I feel like I'm in a good place, and I know what I believe now, and I still consider myself a Christian. I just define it differently than I did before, and I'm comfortable with that. And I'm comfortable talking about that. But that song Fault Line that I played is all about my frustration with trying to discern what is true and realizing that I'm never really going to have all of the answers. I'm never going to know 100% what is true about God and the universe and why we're all here. And so the imagery of me being a tree on a fault line is like, I am just on this shaky foundation where any question that comes in that rattles me, I'm just gonna immediately just fall. Which is where I felt like I was for a long time. And then in the bridge of that song, like the meter changes and the mood totally changes, and then it goes into this bridge that says, "And slowly I crumble through cracks in foundations, not built for what's rippling out." And that's just to say that like my faith was never really, really solid enough to handle the doubts I was having. And then quickly I tumble to find my salvation's made peace with this crippling doubt. And so that line is like the whole crux of it. Just encapsulates everything that I've went to and where I feel like I've landed, which is I can have these doubts and they can be really strong and really present, but I still have the faith. It's hard to explain, but like the doubt's always going to be there, and I can choose to believe, and that makes me, in my eyes, that makes faith more beautiful, because it's a choice more than just something that you have believed your whole life because you've been taught, you know. So
Okay.
Nice.
I know that was a long rambling thing, but
It's a real explanation.
but yes,
which
So long
that's-
answer to that question. What's this
that's
song
what
about?
Fault Line is
I
about.
have so many questions. Okay.
So many.
Hit me.
Okay. Question one is more surface level. Does your mom know all that already? Does
Yes.
she know that whole story?
Yes, she does.
You're like a
now.
very
The first time that I shared that, it was actually also on a live stream. It was at Hidden Creek Studios in Bellevue. It's a
all
really
about
great studio.
They have a live stream? There's another studio with a live stream?
Jesus Christ, burn it to the ground. We're the only one.
No, I was live streaming it. I had a gig there, and I was live streaming it. And it was my, it wasn't my
Bring it in,
Kickstarter
friend.
launch show, but it was shortly before the Kickstarter. But it was my first gig in Nashville after I moved back, which was just this past June. Like, I was avoiding playing live in Nashville because I just didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
But once I started being honest with people about the things that I was going through spiritually and really pursuing making these 2 EPs, I was like, okay, you know, I really just have to be real with people about what I've been through, because that's what this music is about. And I believe that this music can connect with people. And I've been right. I mean, I've talked to so many people that I never would have expected when I first met them that they've gone through the same thing that I have. But those people are everywhere. And I didn't know that until I started being honest about my experience. So I'm just being really open about it now, and that's great. But so the first time that I opened up about all of this was at that gig at Hidden Creek Studios back in June, and I shared all of this, and my mom was watching, and she called me afterward, and she was like, I didn't know you were going through all of this. Like, are you okay? What do you believe now? And we had this heart-to-heart, and I just talked to her about all of it, and she was really great and really understanding, and yeah, so.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
so yes, she knows.
Question 2. Is that the evening part, or what is the evening of evening and morning?
I mean,
Yeah.
that sounds pretty evening. I feel like we just got the.
Yeah.
Was that evening, or was there?
story.
So no, it's a really good question,
Depends how
because
you
I
interpret it.
actually
Yeah.
debated whether Fault Line should go on evening or morning.
Really?
Yes, because morning is not necessarily about like tying everything up with this bow of positivity. It's more about like making peace with your demons and coming to new understandings.
And a new start.
Yeah.
So here's like kind of where I'm going a little bit.
Well,
Yeah.
well, let me say, your mom posted a heartfelt comment in the chat. And I feel weird reading because it's heartfelt, but you know, it's here.
Read it in her mom's voice, please. Thank you.
Let me read it.
Oh, you're not gonna.
I'm not gonna read it. It's personal. I mean, it's not like any personal information or anything.
Everybody's seeing it.
It's just nice. Yeah, everybody sees it. I just feel weird reading it out loud because all the comments I read out loud are like ridiculous.
Yeah. Are you gonna share?
Well, you don't have to.
No,
Right.
I'll leave.
I mean, it's a nice.
It is
nice
it is
That's
there
all.
for people to see.
Yeah, it's nice
but-
sentiment.
Yeah. If they're watching live, if you're watching the podcast,
And I'm just the
you
guy
know
who's
to
like,
see it.
oh, this person said a ridiculous thing. You
So
know?
yeah, you're going to read mom's nice comment.
Yeah.
Okay, fair. Okay, so it's a really compelling story. I'm really was really interested in hearing the whole thing. When we got to the wrap up, you wrapped up really quick. I feel like the very last end. Like,
Yeah.
I heard like the trajectory and this whole thing, but there's a quick wrap up, and so there's either more to this, to me, I'm guessing, there's either more to this story, like, and then how I came to my new set of beliefs and all the stuff that happened, or you're about where you just said, where like you went through all that stuff, the kind of like evening thing, and maybe you're like just at morning now, and that means we're kind of just, you've come to a new beginning, and we don't actually really know where this story's going quite yet.
It's kind of
Or you
both,
just wrapped it up
weirdly.
really quick because you're like, I've been talking a long time.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess there is a little bit more when, like, I started being honest about what I was going through and opened up first to my small group at the church that my husband and I go to, Borderland Mission.
Did you open up? Were you talking with your husband about this as you were going?
I was not. I was hiding it, like, from everyone.
and that makes sense too.
Yeah.
Like especially if you're in a marriage and you're both spiritual.
Yeah,
and, you're, like,
and it was
having
so
doubts
hard because, like, when we got together, it was all about, like, we are centered on Jesus. Like, this is what our relationship is about. And
you're having doubts.
Then
You
I
feel
started
like
having
maybe
all of
you'd be
these
rejected
fundamental
or-
doubts.
yeah.
I didn't worry that I was going to be rejected. I just didn't. Honestly, my biggest reason for hiding it from Chad was that I was afraid that once I opened up to him, that he would push me, that he would be like, okay, like, we can get through this. Everybody has doubts. Like, let's pray together. Let's sit down and read the Bible
Which is the
together. Let's
opposite of
get
what
back
you
on track,
want.
which was absolutely not what I needed at that time. And, like, I really just needed to take a step back.
Totally
It was
what I
like,
would have done if
it
I was a husband.
right? I was
Like,
so
come on,
afraid
baby, we can get through this.
that was going to happen.
Why does he
And
sound like a Southern?
No, that's not him. That's me as a husband. This is for my future wife out there.
You're gonna sound
That's
Southern?
what I'll be like. Come on, baby, we can get through
And the
this.
thing is, like, so many, I'm sure
We out
many
here trying to
Christians
fix
would
things.
say that that's what a husband should do, you know, but that it just really wasn't what I needed at that time. Like, it was affecting my mental health. Like, when I would try to pray or think about spirituality, it would cause me to, like, almost have a panic attack because
Yeah.
I had so much anxiety about it. Like, I really just needed to take a step away. And I felt so much peace about that decision, and I was afraid that, like, Chad just wouldn't recognize
He wouldn't
that.
get it. So
But
you
he
opened up
did.
to your
Once I finally did tell
Yeah.
him about everything I was going through, he was perfect. He was incredible. He didn't push me at all. He was
This
yeah.
episode is now called "Don't Doubt Chad."
I'm pretty sure it's called Emily Summers Tried to Kill Brad Paisley. I'm like 90% sure that's what the episode is called.
That's what we spent.
Clickbait title.
That is a great clickbait title. Yeah. Okay, so you open up to your small group first.
Yeah.
Is he in that small group? Is
Yes.
he learning about it at the
Yes.
same time?
Yeah.
I'm
then
pissed if I'm your husband. I'm
Right?
like,
I know.
Sitting there like this, like,
The thing is, well,
why
the
didn't
thing
you
is,
tell
though-
me about this? I've been dealing this for 9 years, and you're like, we've only
No.
even been married 3. When were you going to mention? Sorry, go
No,
on.
he knew that I was going through stuff, and I knew that he knew. It just wasn't something that we had really sat down and talked about. And so when I opened up to my small group, I was like, he already knows this. We just haven't talked about it yet. So
So it was probably like a really good relief for him. He
Yes.
was probably like,
yeah,
thank God
we're
you're
finally
sharing it.
like addressing the elephant in the room. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I opened up to my small group and was just met with so much understanding and support, and that was the turning point for me because I like, you know, the old saying,
Can't teach
the
your dog
first
new
step
tricks.
to
that's correct.
the first step
I
to
just picked a random old saying. Go on.
like the first step is admitting you have a problem, right?
Yeah.
And that just comes down to, like, once you've called something out and once you've been honest about what you're dealing with, it's so much easier to walk through it. And once I was honest with them and honest with myself about everything I was going through and was met with so much support and understanding, it just made it a lot easier. And so at that point, I just started to have more peace about it and was able to really start figuring out what specifically I believe. Just stripping away everything that I've only ever believed because I was taught it, and figuring out what do I actually believe in my core. What do I believe that I feel like I have a reason to believe, and
So we won't force you on the show to like give your confession of your beliefs.
No.
But my question, I guess my question for you is, do you feel like that you're at a place now where you're like, and I know what I believe now? Or are you more in a place where you're like, you have settled on certain things, there's certain things you don't know, and you're in the morning. Hey, call back to the EP. Like where you're now like, okay, we're moving forward in a new direction, seeing where this is going.
Yeah. Yes.
That
The
Yeah.
second one. So I do still feel like I'm going through it, but I've realized that that's never going to change. I don't think I'm ever going to get up to a place where I feel like, okay, I've arrived. I know
Yeah.
what my theology is.
Which you probably shouldn't.
Right. And
Right, that doesn't
so
make sense.
a lot of this is about realizing that
Yeah.
we don't have the answers and we can choose to believe certain things, and some things we will believe more firmly than others.
Oh, yeah.
But it's always going to be a journey of evolving and growing and learning. And that's how it should be, you know?
Well, totally on that topic, I saw her a second ago. I think she's still here, but Karinsky, aka my sister and his wife, was just here a second ago.
She's here.
Okay, so she probably hears my voice. I remember so clearly, and I've told a lot of people this story, but never her. Oh, I can see her through the window.
She's coming in here for a second because she bought more ginger beer.
Oh,
Because we're
good.
almost out.
We are.
Nice.
We need ginger beer. Corinne told me many years ago we were driving, and I must have been 19, 20. And I was working at a church, and she must have been, 17, 18, 2 years younger. And she was like, how do you know what God's call for your life is? Like, how do you know what, like, you're supposed to do with your life? What's your thing? How do you know that? Mm-hmm. And I was just like, so she's my younger sister, obviously. And I was like, thinking to myself, I gave her advice. She's going to walk through the door. Now it's going to become weird. I'm talking about a third person, not you. Did you bring pizza? Or is that your pizza?
It's not my pizza.
For the podcast listeners, Corinne just entered the door with a puppy. So,
And she brought our puppy. Come here, pupper.
oh wow. Okay,
I'm
pause
Emily.
the story. I'm going to shut the door because there's a loud air conditioning going.
So the pod, say something in the microphone, Gimli. Don't lick the microphone, you weirdo.
Everybody, this is the world premiere of Gimli on the podcast.
I'm gonna hold him right here though, so he doesn't eat
Gimli
any
cast.
cables.
I brought
Yeah,
more
that would be
ginger beer.
really bad.
Okay, you can't take her seat though.
Oh, I'm Emily now.
Hi,
Yeah, I
Emily.
write lots of really good songs. I'm very witty, and I'm also really, well-spoken. And my name's Emily.
That's getting weird now.
Also,
If you've ever listened to the
I'm
show and
married
you've
and I'm
heard the
28.
words Karinsky and you wondered who that was,
Here she
here
is.
she is, my
Follow her
sister.
on Twitch. My wife.
We talk about her almost every episode.
So, yeah.
Here she is.
It's weird, isn't it?
I'm famous.
Can we eat some of that pizza?
I brought it for you. Oh, sorry, Mike.
You're the best.
But for real though, you can't sit there. I guess you can sit there
I'm
for a
keeping
second.
the seat
I guess
warm.
you can sit there for a second.
Yeah, so,
I'm actually a professional seat warmer for famous people.
Oh wow.
I get hired to do that.
That's a really good.
Famous
job
people
path.
don't
Give me
like
one of
cold
those.
seats, so I got to keep them warm.
Corinne, now that you're on our show, like, what do you want to say to the people?
I love you. Follow me on Instagram.
Karinsky23.
It's
to see all of our pictures from
Corinne.y.bird.
Hawaii. Still.
And pictures of, and follow Gimli on Instagram at Gimli the Dwarf Doggo.
He probably has more followers than me at this point.
He has
Probably.
a
You're
lot
not
of great
active.
I'm not
pictures.
active at all.
He's
I'm
getting
terrible at
like
Instagram.
opportunities for partnerships every day. I call them partnerships, like with a paw.
Postures. I just thought you were, like, speaking bad.
Partnerships. He's a fancy dog.
Is he really getting offers?
Yeah. They're like,
All right, get down here. Get out of here.
okay, bye everyone.
Great to see you, Corinne.
Thank you.
I'm kidding. I love you.
Matching shoes and a matching name.
Look it. Wow. Emily's with the cheetah prints flats.
Her name's not really Emily.
Oh,
I just wanted to lie. I mean, I was pretending to be you.
Emily.
I appreciate that.
I also need to steal some of your drink.
Yeah, there. Go for it.
Is there any empty cups?
The cups are outside.
Oh.
They're in the lounge.
Oh,
Hey, Corinne, while you're there, can you fill this up with ice? We're out of ice. You're the best
And
wife
dump the
ever.
dump the water.
Oh, okay.
For the record, best wife because she's getting nice and brought us ginger beer
And pizza.
and
Yes.
pizza.
Best
Hey,
part.
you want a slice of pizza?
Yeah. Yeah, I really do.
Yeah.
Thank you. Take this little guy. Still got another song to sing at some point, so.
Yeah, probably soon.
I like how you personify the pizza. I was in the middle of a story.
Yes, go back
And
to
then
your
she
story.
walked
I'm
through
sorry.
the door and ruined all.
I took that opportunity to pee because I really.
It was a great
You should
time.
follow him, Foxhound.
It just felt weird to tell my sister the story about her rather than tell you the story about my sister, even though that shouldn't be true. Anyway, but because it related to your story, it was like an anecdote related to you. So we're in the car, and my sister was asking me, "How do you know like God's plan for your life?" And I remember, and I'm like, again, 1920, and I was working in youth ministry at the time, and I just remember, and I gave her some advice. I don't remember what it was, but I remember just thinking in my head, just being like, oh, I didn't say this, but like, I'm so glad that I know God's plan for my life. Like, I'm so glad that I know what I'm supposed to do with my life, and I'm doing that now, and I don't have to figure it out because I could
Detailing cars?
No, well, it was youth ministry, right? And I was detailing cars at the same time, but like it was like youth ministry. That's the plan, and I was doing it, and we're great. Here we are, and I'm like, wow, I'm so glad I have that figured it out because I could imagine feeling really uncomfortable not knowing what the plan for my life is, but I know it, and I'm good. And anyway, that's always fun to look back on because that all changed, and that's not what I do now, and. And things have shifted a lot. And so it all comes back to what you were saying about coming to a certain place of comfortability with not 100% knowing. Mm-hmm. And you know certain things about God, or you've settled on, at least for now, you've settled on certain things that you think about what God's probably like and what's...
This is the most religion we've ever talked on this podcast.
This is the religion episode. And like what is my job or goal as a person, and you probably have some ideas and other things that you've just decided like, okay, I don't really know that for now, and that's okay. But overall, like, it's just interesting. I think in general when you're young, like, it just seems like a really common trend that young people, and especially like young Christians, are like, we tend to be pretty like black or white in our thinking. And it makes sense, like brain science wise, like people don't develop the ability to have abstract thought till they're older. That's the last thing to develop. So I think when we're children, we think very concretely. And so we think really specifically about like, God is this is my life, is this is right, this is wrong, this is...
And we're taught those things,
yeah. And then we're taught it, and it literally matches our brain. And then as you get older and you adapt and you evolve and you change and realize certain things aren't so simple, and life's a little more complex, and you come to a place of just a little more like you're explaining a story of like I think that is the process of growing up to an extent, and like if you never do, then you stay in a place of like you
complacency and
watch, I'm about to tie it back.
All right.
You have that choice.
Back, Ryan.
Are you going to take the road to Livingston or not? Are you going to take that road, or are you going to stay safe here in the museum? And a lot of people probably do stay like in their black and white thinking, and they never get out of that place. But like if you're gonna leave your hometown, if you're gonna try something new, meet some new people, like you're gonna meet people who kind of contradict with what you thought, and you have to broaden your thinking a little bit, and ultimately come to a place of feeling comfortable with some level of not knowing and realizing I thought it this way before and now I think differently, and that's okay. And anyway, but now you're 27, you're in the morning of your life.
So young.
And so young.
Miss those years.
That was very Sam Tarley of you. I miss those years. Jon Snow. And now here you are, and you're on Nashville 2.0, and I'm on Nashville 2.0 as well.
And you're on Musical Hideout. You've made it.
You have made it.
You've done the thing.
Here we are.
I'm on Nashville 2.0 as well. I went back home for my own reasons and came back for my own reasons.
I'm on Nashville 1.0.
Yeah.
I still haven't gone home yet.
Yeah, you will, and you'll come back. It's like we all do it. Gimli the dog has just barked into the show.
He's probably...
And
Now we have more
thanks,
ice
Fran.
for the thing.
I
Can
would
you
love some more
please,
ice.
for the love of all God, shut that door when you leave. There's a loud air conditioning.
And take Gimli with you. You can't just hang out here.
This is the puppy I hang out with after I get home from work.
But actually, and this sounds strange for how we normally run the show, but it's actually time for another song.
Oh, wow.
It's been like 45 minutes.
All right.
Right?
Yeah, no, I think we talked through Fault Line pretty well.
Yeah, that was a very strong. The next song may not get such a strong explanation.
Well,
But we'll see.
no, it's not quite as.
Did she leave? Oh, you're here. I was like, did you not take Gimli with you?
Okay.
But not the case. I just want to like put a bow on that. Like, as old people seem to tell us all the time, I'm sure you agree. Like, we're still young, even though we feel old.
I'm so old.
And we're on Nashville 2.0, and sometimes it feels like, to me, it almost feels like I went through a certain phase of my life, and now, I don't know if this relates. I'm just having this metaphor right now, but it kind of feels like it goes along with how I felt for a while. Mm-hmm. For me, it's like turning 30 sort of felt like a boat. Like if I had been on a long boat ride of the journey of my life, if that's my metaphor, feels like the boat crashed. I got to 30 and I hadn't been married yet, which was like a goal that I weirdly subconsciously had.
Yeah.
And then it meant a lot that it hadn't happened. And anyway, there's other life things too, but it's like, it just feels like the boat of my life. At some point there was a shipwreck at around 30-ish, and then I like woke up the next day on shore. And it feels like for a while after the boat crash, you're like circling around like, oh, what is life now? Mm-hmm. And it feels like the boat ride was the point. I hope this makes sense. There's people following me. We have had a little bit of Kraken. Whoa! I was shipwrecked because of the Kraken. And here I am walking on the shores of my new life being like, but the boat has crashed. And like 30 to 32 for me has been like, I guess I'll learn how to live on this island. And then you know what I'm saying? And I'm
Yeah.
like, I guess I'm 30 now. And I'm like, maybe this island's not so bad.
So old.
And
I don't know if I would do if I was your
we're
age.
so old. Yeah. You'll be here soon in 2 months,
2
buddy.
months younger than him.
But maybe that's where you're tying it back to you. Maybe that's where you are with like the EP, the evening and the morning, and you're in the morning of your life now. And it's like, well, you're 27. I remember when I was your age, the tender age of
That
27.
was half a decade ago, you old
No,
motherfucker.
no. Oh my God, it was. It was only 5 years.
That's half a
Not
decade.
like
that
going to
long.
high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is 5%.
Oh my God, you
One
were
year,
in seventh grade when I was
less
graduating.
than it's 1 year less than going to Belmont, right?
Yeah. Not for some people.
And so in either case, it's like, I remember being 27, you feel like, I'm a full-on adult at this point. And you are, like in every legal sense of the word, but like, who knows what 10
I'm pretty
years
sure
looks
I'm
like
not
from
an adult
now.
yet.
Yeah.
Will you
I
even still be
refuse.
friends with those Belmont friends? That's how you
Yeah, those forever friends.
Those
Yes.
forever friends.
I will.
We're
We'll
checking
see.
back in. Every few years, we're going to message you. Hey, are
Still
you still friends with
those
them?
people?
I told you.
Doubt it. So what's the next song?
Play this now, yeah.
All right, this next song is called How Long.
How long?
How Long. It's going to be on the Morning EP.
Okay.
Coming out in the spring.
All right. Go for it whenever you're ready.
Take a sip of bitter wine, let it trickle down your throat. Tell yourself you're doing fine, button up your winter coat. And if it's difficult to breathe in all that frigid air around you, tell yourself again the reasons they'd be better off without you. Take another step toward the life you know you never wanted. Whisper to the window, Lord, I wonder how long must we wait? How long must we pray? Ooh. Oh. Oh, the innocence of 7. Dreams of going up in space. But by the time you reach 11, Mama puts them in their place. They all celebrate how far you've come and say with widened arms, watch out world, it's another golden child, another superstar. Take one careful step toward the life you said you always wanted, and one day you can join the world in singing. How long, long must we wait? How long must we pray? Make yourself $1 million, build that house by the riverside, travel all the world and realize you're still not satisfied.
And we're back. All right. So, you want to start us off with where'd that song come from?
Yeah. So that song it's again just like going back to my restlessness. It just ties into like no matter what we have, we always want more. You know, we always feel like we're not there yet, like we haven't quite arrived, even if we've met certain goals in our life that we wanted to meet. Or like if at one point in my life I thought, oh, you know, if I can just like live in Nashville and have a husband and a house and a dog, then like I'll have arrived, right? Mm-hmm. But then once I have those things, it's like I want more. And
the dog's pretty great though.
Yeah,
let me tell you,
my dog is amazing. But it's just about that universal feeling, you know, that no matter what we have, we're never really like satisfied. Maybe some people are. If you are, you're lucky. But
or you just haven't found the thing that makes you unsatisfied yet.
Sure. But I debated about that one, about whether to put it on evening or morning as well. It definitely has more of a somber feel to it, but it could be on evening, because it is about that restlessness and that dissatisfaction. But I put it on morning because it is such a universal feeling, and because everybody just understands that, it's comforting to me.
Wait, you put it on evening? I think you put it on morning.
I put it on morning, yes. Sorry if I misspoke. It could be on evening, but I decided to put it on morning because the fact that it's a universal feeling gives me peace and gives me comfort. I'm able to say, like, hey, this restlessness, this unsatisfaction exists, and it's probably never going to go away, but it's something that we all experience, and I can recognize it and embrace it without letting that feeling control me. Like, I can come back and be grateful for the things that I do have in my life and what I have done, without letting that restlessness overwhelm me. So that's kind of why I have it on morning instead of on evening, because it's just about how that feeling is so universal, and to me that gives me a lot of comfort.
And here's a question for Miss Summers, which is what I'm calling your mom. Mm-hmm. Is that correct, Miss Summers? Am I saying that right?
You can always go with Ms.
I always get confused with Miss, Ms, Mrs. I don't know the difference.
That's what the MZ is for when you don't know.
Ms.
Ms. Summers.
Yeah.
It's the catch-all.
Ms. Summers. Ms. Summers.
Sure.
Summers.
Now you just sound drunk.
Do we ever get over being this restless feeling? Do we become content as we grow older? Please share your wisdom. Anyway, okay. Back to... Were you Miss Summers or Mrs. Summers?
Well,
no, you're not,
I
because
guess
you have a husband.
My legal name is Emily Wilmore.
Mrs. Wilmore.
Mrs. Wilmore, legally, yes.
Is that your husband's last name?
Mm-hmm.
So
No, it's just
legally,
some random one she picked. What's your name? I'll take it.
but you retained. But you retained Summers because of the artist career.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. Okay, that makes sense.
And the theater career, too.
Oh,
we haven't
yeah,
gone
so you
into
did
that.
theater as well. We didn't even
Yes.
talk about theater. Yet.
Yeah.
All right,
Gosh,
part
who
3.
knows where we are.
Tell us about theater.
So you were
Part
involved
3.
in
No,
theater?
this actually really connects to everything. So I started, when I moved back to Nashville, I had this huge identity crisis, all of these spiritual doubts. And then I was like, okay, well, I don't want to work in a church anymore. I wasn't writing because I was just feeling very discouraged about everything. I wasn't writing music. I've had a hard time having success in the Nashville music industry, so I just was discouraged in every aspect. Did my mom share her wisdom?
did.
Okay,
She
pause.
Mom says, "No, we don't ever get over that, which is why I believe that God created us for something greater than this life." Oh, very profound.
Yes.
Thank you, Ms.
No, there's
Summers.
there's a C.S. Lewis quote that says, if we begin to, what is it? If we discover a desire within us that nothing in this world can satisfy, we should wonder if perhaps we were created for another world, is the C.S. Lewis quotation. So good at just like those little nuggets of wisdom.
Sounds like
Anyway,
it came from, what was that alien book he had? Do you remember that? I don't know if you read it.
I don't know.
He had a book, yeah, it was on another
No, I
planet.
heard about it. I heard about
I
it.
forget
Yeah,
what it
yeah,
was
yeah.
Oh, he
called,
did
but
like science
Another
fiction.
fiction
it was a
novel,
science
yeah.
fiction novel, yeah, which was very outside of the other
Yes.
stuff that he's done. I saw like Screw Tape Players
Yeah.
and the Narnia
Yeah, yeah,
series
yeah.
and all that. Yeah.
But so I came back to Nashville and just I didn't know who I was or what I was doing. I didn't have any clear direction, and so I started working for a nonprofit, End Slavery Tennessee, fights human trafficking. I'm still there, and that was my goal. I was like, okay, if I can't do music and I'm not working at churches, I need to pursue something that's bigger than myself. I need to help people, and my heart just broke for human trafficking victims, and so started volunteering for End Slavery Tennessee. That turned into a job. But when I started working at End Slavery Tennessee, it was a 9 to 5. And prior to that, I was always working in churches or in restaurants. So I had my work schedule was nights and weekends. And as I did theater growing up, in high school, but I was never able to do it post high school because my jobs or class schedule just didn't allow me to do it. But then once I got this job at End Slavery Tennessee, I finally, all my nights and weekends were open and I had a clear, steady schedule. So I was like, hey, I can do community theater. So within a couple of weeks, I auditioned for Beauty and the Beast with the Circle Players, and it's a community theater that rehearses in Madison. They perform at the Luby Theater in Metro Center. But got into that, and it just opened up this whole new world of theater for me. And
Did you get part?
I was in the
was your part?
ensemble. I
Okay.
was a dancing plate.
Nice.
And it was very fun. I made some of my best friends are in the theater community now, and
Lifelong friends, or
I
kinda
would say so. Yes,
temporary friends.
lifelong friendships.
You got a lot of faith in the strength of your friendship.
Hey, I am a loyal friend. I do not let my friends go easily.
But some of them are not so loyal.
Is this twist off? I need some more.
No, but we have a.
I'm gonna need some more of this.
As soon as you question the veracity of your friendships,
Yeah.
we're just we're gonna need some more ginger
You want
beer.
more?
I like your use
Is
of the
this-
word veracity.
Thank you.
I'm
That's
a-
the second
I
time
am
tonight.
a good.
And the fourth
There's
time
no
this
problem with
week.
I have some rum in there.
Okay.
But I
Is
am,
ginger
nice.
beer alcoholic? I asked.
No,
It
it's
is
not.
not. It is
Okay.
not.
I know some are not, but this one
There-
didn't
there
say
are
alcoholic
ginger
or
beers, But
non-alcoholic.
usually they're not.
Okay.
The standard
Okay.
stuff.
That's
Ginger
good,
beer is
because
just
otherwise
it's
I
like
drank
ginger
a
ale,
lot
but
tonight.
way more ginger.
Way more gingery.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really strong
A little
ginger.
kick to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got back into theater, and Beauty and the Beast was just a fun thing. That was June of last year.
it's a tale as old as time.
This is
Yes.
an actual prop from the show, Nashville.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Gifted to Ryan by Laurel.
That's true. Laurel.
Our old,
our old manager.
Momager.
Momager.
The
Yeah.
band we were in.
By the way, I'm so disappointed that when I said tale as old as time, no one said song as old as rhyme.
Well, I'm sorry.
This
Alright.
episode is now called Song as Old as Rhyme. You're
More of an
welcome.
Aladdin kind of guy.
Dude, okay, this is a great tangent. I haven't thought of this in 10 years. Jury went through a Disneyland phase.
Not a phase. Disneyland is amazing. I love Disneyland.
But you had
Disneyland or Disney World?
Man,
First of all,
world can go
hold
to hell.
on. The fact that you would even question that makes me doubt your character. Because Disneyland is clearly superior.
Okay.
I doubt your character, but Disneyland is clearly superior. Why would you think Disney World is better? Because that's what it sounded like.
I was clarifying.
Okay. What do you think?
No, we heard Disney World is better.
Well, I really can't say. I guess I haven't been to Disneyland since
so
I
you
was
don't
like
know.
4.
So you
but
don't know.
Have you been?
but
to
I
Disney
have
World
been to
before?
Disneyland Tokyo, and that was not great.
I've heard that. I've
Interesting.
heard all the other country ones are terrible. I've heard. I've
It was
never been.
bad.
Huh.
All day, and we went on 5 rides. We spent 3 hours in line for Thunder
Well, that's
Mountain. It was not worth
miserable.
it.
What?
No.
of course
Thunder
it wasn't.
Mountain?
Yeah, it was bad.
Thunder Mountain is like a 30-minute wait max. Otherwise, it's
Yeah,
not
no,
worth
it was 3 hours.
Now,
Those
Space
Japanese
Mountain?
people,
I'll wait 3 hours.
They
Space
love their
Mountain.
Thunder
there's just
Mountain.
so many of them.
New episode.
Japanese people, there's
Maybe
too
we
many
will
of
edit
them.
this episode.
Quoted by You heard it here first.
I think the name of this
People of
episode is
Tokyo.
Japs Love Thunder Mountain.
That is not the title of the episode. I don't want to see a band.
Edit.
No, I was in Tokyo a couple of years ago, and we went to Disneyland Tokyo, and it was during the spring, during like the school districts in Tokyo. It was during their spring break, and so all of the teenagers were at Disneyland Tokyo that week, and we picked a very bad day to go. So it was just extremely crowded.
Wow.
But
Well, Disneyland is delightful. It's the best.
So he went
It's
through a
way better
phase.
than- it's not a
He went
phase.
through a
I love
phase.
Disneyland.
That's not the phase.
Oh.
The phase was right around 2009. Jerry went through a phase where he would go to Disneyland.
Like
a
17
lot.
times in 1 year.
wow.
17. I had a year pass.
Tell me, okay, I was
And
going
he
to
went
say.
through a phase of, because we lived about 2
My wife
hours
used to work
away,
at
hour and a
Disneyland.
half. Corinne worked
Before
there.
I knew her.
Yeah.
I mean, I just met her.
Although she got us in together
No, I
free
had a
one
year
day.
pass. She got you in for free.
Back then?
Yeah, I had
I
a
think
year
she
pass.
got you in free then.
I had a year pass. Didn't need it. I had a year pass every year for like 5
Anyway,
years.
we had a day off work
Wow.
and we just went to anyway. So he went through a phase where his goal was to get a picture with every single one of the princesses at Disneyland.
I've never achieved it. I've gotten like 4. Because the thing is, it's a little awkward. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm not going up to a random chick who's at her job playing a Disney princess.
But to be fair,
and be
you did with
no,
4 of them.
I only did it. I only did it if I had a girl with me who would take the picture too. Because that made it okay.
Yeah.
As a-
Otherwise, you're just a
As a
weird
tw-
loner
yeah.
dude at
As a
Disneyland getting pictures
23-year-old
with the
man,
princesses.
you were going and taking pictures with all the princesses.
Yeah, of course you gotta.
No, you don't.
You gotta.
I didn't.
Well, you should have.
Most people haven't.
I've only gotten a few of them. And I don't care about the new Disney princesses
There was a lot.
either. Just
He'd
the
bring
originals.
me his phone and be like, "Look, I got a picture with." Jasmine.
I
Did
never
you get
got
Jasmine?
Jasmine. I got Ariel.
Ooh, that's hard because
I
you
got
really care
Sleeping
about
Beauty.
Aladdin.
I got Cinderella. Who's the other one I got? I mean, those are the big hits. You know
I can't
what
tell if this sounds gay or rapey the way you're saying this.
Oh my god! And they're all pictures of my wife, except for the very first one, which is before we were married, when she was living in China. Which I had a picture with Susan and Michelle, with with Cinderella. I think I don't know.
Huh.
I don't know. I haven't thought about that in a long time because I'm in Disneyland. Because I live in Nashville. Disneyland's not an hour and a half drive.
I have a feeling you're always thinking about all the princesses you did.
I'm really not. I also wanted pictures with other characters too. That was just an easy metric to try to achieve.
Sure,
Wait, so
all the
did you?
princesses.
I'm gonna bring this back. Did you get Belle?
Oh yeah, I think I did get Belle.
So did you get Belle? Get Belle. Anyway, so you
That
were
was the
Beauty and the
fourth.
Beast.
I was in
Okay,
Beauty
so
and the
it's me,
Beast.
Peter.
Good
I
back
didn't
As
get
a
dancing
plate.
plate though. For the record, I did not get dancing
I mean, if
plate.
you want, I can like
Yeah, I
get
was
my
like,
old costume. We can work it out. We can take a picture
See, now it's
together.
getting like super creepy. I don't know. We've gone, and now I'm too old. That was 10 years ago. You know what I mean? Now I'm old.
You were
and
a
now
young
it's,
man
It's
of-
more creepy now.
I mean, yeah,
It
you were
is.
just.
You're not wrong.
Who
When I was,
doesn't have
like,
a princess
just
phase when
out
they're
of college,
23?
Hanging out at Disneyland with some friends.
You just gotta wait until you're like 75,
That's
and then
fine.
you're just
And
a
I'll finish
charming
it.
old man. You
I
know.
can be a charming old man. I'm
Yes.
definitely not.
Just
a
like,
charming
oh,
old
that
man.
sweet old
I'm
guy
definitely
wanted
a
a
get off
picture
my
with me.
lawn asshole. Like, not.
You could be that guy though. You could be like, "Well, hi there, little lady. Can I get a picture with you?" And some futuristic bells like
Robot bells.
robot bell. Picture commencing. Yeah, they definitely. Disneyland doesn't hire real actresses anymore in the year 2050, right? Like they in the 50s, they're only gonna hire
In the
robots.
50s.
When we're old in the 50s,
Well, they don't need to hire them. They just build them
they build
to
robot
do their
bells.
will. Unless they're AI, in which case then they rebel and take over. It's a whole thing.
Disneyland
Disney
burns
princess
to the
running
ground.
world. Yeah.
Oh, we've
well,
tangented
fun
you
fact.
again. Yeah.
Here we are continuing on the tangent. I heard from someone, which means you know that it's credible, that Ursula.
Oh, I super believe in somebody.
Ursula was originally like written and thought of as being played by a man in drag. So like
I could totally
Really?
you could
Makes
be
sense.
Ursula. You could just
I
like
could totally be Ursula.
yeah.
I couldn't handle it.
I could see
She's
it.
too mean.
I could see Disney writers doing that, and then they're like, yeah, of course we have to actually make it a woman, but it's still going to kind of look like a man in drag.
That was so many years
Speaking
ago.
of
I mean, such a
Ursula,
deep voice.
the Kraken.
The
Am I
Kraken.
right? This episode's called The Kraken.
Sponsored by
Pretty sure it's
Kraken.
called Emily Summers tried to murder Brad Paisley.
Thank you for bringing us
That's
back.
right.
We need to
Yeah.
keep that firmly in mind. Wow, did you know
It's
the
just getting
Kraken is
increasingly
literally...
more serious.
Did you know
Emily
the
almost
Kraken...
killed Brad
and
Paisley.
aggressively tried to murder.
Did you know the Kraken is literally
America's
holding a
treasure.
ship in his arms and trying to destroy
That's
it?
your
what the
shaky
Krakens
boat.
do.
I didn't know that when I made my ship metaphor. This episode is spooky,
This
you guys.
is this is
It's a
real.
spooky episode, y'all.
Yeah.
Well,
And I would call it the spooky episode, except it's called...
Emily Summers
Emily
tried.
Summers stalks and aggressively plans to murder Brad Paisley.
Correct.
That's right.
Cool.
You're
No
super
doubt.
into it. We're going to get that cease and desist. Don't you worry.
We'll get it.
We're going for it.
better.
I'll call you guys when I get it. Like we
There's
did it,
only
you
a
guys.
few ways to become famous in this town. And one is trying to murder Brad Paisley. Wouldn't it be great if he was here and he was just like, you can try, but you won't succeed.
Yeah,
like,
I'm a
he's
sneaky
real
bitch.
good at
And he like
it.
slides away into the darkness.
He's
Yes.
like, I know that's how people try to get it in this town. I know.
Yeah, you can either get a billboard on Music Row or get a restraining order from Music Row. One of the two.
Either one's
There
fine.
is no
Both
in
good.
between.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so theater.
Yes.
I was in Beauty and the Beast. I made
Yes.
lots of friends. It was wonderful. And then the next show that I auditioned for was same theater company. They did If Then, which is a new musical. It starred Idina Menzel. Came out, I think it was like 2014, 2015. It was on Broadway. And I got the starring role, the Idina Menzel character.
Oh, nice.
And I had never been a lead in a musical before. So this was like a dream come true for me.
Yeah.
Huge thing. Like it was like a 3-hour long show, and I like never left the stage. So it was
Really?
just
Not even one
yes.
time?
I mean, sure, but I just like there was not more than like 4 or 5 minutes that I was off the stage at any given time.
Yeah.
So it was very cool, and it really built up my confidence because I had never had a chance
That's
to.
a whole new thing. That's crazy.
Yeah, and I had never sung like that before. I had never acted like that before. I didn't know that I was capable of doing what I did in that show until I did it. And so, while I was performing in that show, people kept telling me they would come and see it, and then they'd tell me afterward, like, you were so in your element. I kept hearing that
Wow.
phrase, like, you were so in
That's
your
a good
element.
phrase.
That's good praise.
And I
yeah.
kept thinking to myself, I mean, yeah, like when I'm here, when I'm on stage performing in this show, I feel like I belong. I feel like I'm doing a really good job. And compare that to how I feel at work, which is like, I always have this anxiety. Like I've got this administrative office job at End Slavery, Tennessee, and I'm so
Yeah.
grateful for it. I really love it. But I'm not an administrative person. It's very challenging for me. And so when I'm there, it's hard. And I have this anxiety while I'm there, like, oh, am I going to mess something up? Like, am I forgetting about something? Do I need to order Post-it notes or something, you know? So,
Did you know Leah is actually a massive fan of Post-it notes?
really?
She hadn't told you?
I am going to get you,
I use a lot of
Leah, I'm going to get you a pack of Post-it notes and cover each one of them with gold stars.
Oh my god.
So
That
you
would
can't even
blow
use
my
them. It would ruin the
Please don't.
functionality of both the gold stars and the Post-it notes.
Please don't. She might die and instantly go to heaven. We don't want to lose Leah. That would just be too much.
Yeah, Belle is my wife's. My wife wants to do some theater,
Yeah.
and that Belle is her dream role. Eventually.
It was my dream role.
What?
And
Until-
then I auditioned for
Yeah,
Beauty and the
and then you
Beast,
got
and I got a dancing plate, and I was like, dang it. But the person who got Belle was wonderful. Cameron Boyd. She goes to
But don't you kind of
MTSU.
wish?
She's
but,
wonderful.
Is she
but
like a
also,
friend
do you
for
hate her a
life
little
kinda?
bit deep
No, I
inside?
don't.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't, because I realized that like I am just not the Disney princess type. I prefer to play roles that are really real, which I learned through
Like fucking dancing plates?
Through If Then.
That was my first fuck of the night, and I reserved it for dancing plates.
That's a good choice. It's a good choice.
Thank you.
First fuck of the night,
It
dancing
is.
plates.
Well, fun fact, I sang one of my big songs in If Then was called What the Fuck. I had lots of F-bombs.
Will you sing it right now, though?
What the fuck? What the fuck?
What the fuck? Stay the night. There's a chance it'll all be alright. There you go. There's a little taste of it.
Little tidbit, little taste.
A little taste, yes.
That wasn't nearly enough.
Yeah, you
All right.
one-
And then on the side of the stage. Tell me more. Go ahead.
So I was Elizabeth in this show, big lead role. It really built up my confidence. Everyone kept telling me that I was in my element, and I was like, okay, I really should pursue this. And around that time is the same point in my life. This was just last March. Around that same point is where I really started to make peace with where I was in my faith and feel comfortable talking about it. And so I was like, okay, I really need to release these EPs that I've had in the back of my head for a while. I need to record them. I need to just really get back into my music and into my theater because that's where I belong. That's where I've always known that I belong, but I've been too nervous about really pursuing it. So here we are. I made that decision, like that being in that show was a turning point for me. And yeah, so now I'm working on these EPs. I just did a successful Kickstarter, and I am also currently playing Janet in the Rocky Horror Show.
Ah, that's awesome.
Yes, it opens October 18th at the Circle Players, circleplayers.net. You can get tickets. Performs at the Luby Theater in Metro Center.
When did you say it opens?
October 18th.
October.
Where is Metro Center?
It's like
In the center of the metro area?
Just-
Compared to downtown. I see we're going to musical theater now.
just north of downtown.
Just north of downtown.
You know how you look at the map and there's that loop? Like there's that inner circle of Nashville?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
Nashville's laid
the
out super
top
weird.
of the inner circle of Nashville.
Okay.
Whoa. It sounds very important. The top of the inner circle.
Yes, the top
Metro
of the
Center.
inner circle. Yeah.
Ba-ba.
Now,
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a landmark.
Is
Probably
it more
it's-
towards
Like
the
Rosa L. Parks
you know-
Boulevard.
you know-
Rosa
you can
Parks
do?
Yes.
music, the Musicians Hall of Fame?
you know how you can know where it is?
Maybe?
Not
If you
quite.
just go ahead and type it in your phone and then do what it says.
Perfect.
Yes.
Wow, go to hell. So great. Metro Center, home of the Circle Players, and you can see that new episode. I'm doing my various
Your
radio
voice,
voices.
yes.
your
It
radio
sounds a
voice.
little
See,
bit like
I have a
Quagmire
few.
from Family
I
Guy,
have
I'm
a
not
few.
gonna lie.
I get kind of,
Giggity. You can see that new show.
Only on Music Row Hideout do we go from
Yeah.
church worship set to Quagmire.
I think you might be our first guest to know the name of the show.
Yeah, no one knows what we're called. Like, what were we called again? Is it,
Where the fuck am I?
No, to be fair, this is probably also the most cohesive episode we've ever had.
It's very cohesive.
We have followed like a trend
Yeah, it's-
story.
Yeah, we
it's good
basically
to-
just told my entire life story, so here we are.
It's good to have a female to balance our vibes and kind of bring
Just
a
throw some
cohesive
estrogen
message.
into
Yeah,
the
it's been a
mix.
while.
Yeah, yeah.
We haven't had a girl since Alyssa J.C. maybe.
Yeah, I think she was the last.
I don't know.
That means nothing to me.
Oh,
Yeah,
you don't know
I don't know
who
when
that is?
Alyssa J.C. was here.
Here's what it means.
You don't
I
know
know
this,
yesterday.
Alexander Wren?
I do not.
Of course. I don't know if Alyssa
That
knows
has been
him.
ascertained.
She should.
She must.
Everyone knows Alex.
Everyone knows
So
Alex.
the point is, other episode name. I've never done 1942 newscaster radio man on this show.
Sure.
That's one of my characters.
We're talking
Hey,
Roswell?
Smitty, I got a hot scoop on a.
I think that's a detective, not a radio.
Yeah, not bad, not bad.
I got a big scoop on a hot
In the
blonde,
era,
and I need
for
another double.
Yeah. You're in the direction
you're
for sure.
definitely there, yeah.
Hey there, folks. This is 1942 newscaster radio man here for another
yes.
scoop on America's radio. Here to tell you all about the cheers and jeers of America's public on the subject of our friend Emily Summers.
Well, that's pretty good.
That is pretty good.
It was kind of 1942 radio man without a script or without a clear defined path and a lot of cracking.
Yeah, you brought up
Yeah.
impressions earlier.
What's that?
Do you do some?
Yeah.
Do you have any? Can we hear them all?
I shouldn't have said
Every
it.
single last
Every
So
one.
I have one.
Okay.
I have one, and I
want
almost
all
brought
of
it up
them.
earlier when we were talking about Beauty and the Beast because it is Celine Dion.
Oh.
I
Specifically.
really- yes.
Singing or talking? Because I don't.
Singing.
Okay, good. Because I don't know
her
her
talking voice, but her
voice.
singing
Yeah.
voice is very iconic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it
and,
My Heart Will Go On?
I mean anything.
Because it's the only song I know from her, I feel like.
I don't know. I do My Heart Will Go On, or
Your
I'll
mom
do
typed Celine, I'm pretty sure, before you even said that.
probably.
Let's hear My Heart
She's
Will
on
Go
like
On.
a
My Heart Will Go On.
satellite.
I don't know.
one's gonna hit
There's
hard.
That's the Way It Is. My Heart Will Go On. Beauty
Oh,
and
I
the
know
Beast.
that's the way it is.
That's the way it is.
But My Heart Will Go On is going to hit my
I only know-
1998 heart real hard.
Wait.
And then there's The Power of Love, which was the
What's
first
That's the
one.
Way It Is? The other one was like, that's just the way it is. And that's not her.
No, I know. And that's the way it is.
That's the one. Yeah.
Is that her?
That's her.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So I can vibe with that, but My Heart Will Go On is getting
That's
hit
classic. That's
every
everybody
Titanic
knows.
lover's heart.
All right. Oh
anybody.
man,
Yeah.
I'm not as good at My Heart Will Go
I
On.
believe in you. We believe.
Okay, hold on. How does that even start? I know the chorus. How does it start? What's the verse? Right. Okay. Yes, that's the penny whistle.
That's one of the best penny whistle impressions I've heard on this show.
Oh, thank you very much. I practiced. Just in anticipation of this moment. Let's see. Oh gosh, here we
It's
go.
going to be hard without laughing.
This is usually not something I.
Oh, no. Not
Thank
that.
you.
Never that.
God, I sound like you playing violin day 3.
Full circle. All right. Now I usually need to like work into it, so here we go.
Get in the vibe.
Yeah.
What do you have to do to get in
more
that vibe? Yeah, Kraken, pretend to like drown.
Okay. I don't usually do this outside of karaoke, but here we are. Every night in my dreams, I see you, I feel you. That is how I know you go on. Far across the distance and spaces between us, you have come to show you go on. Near, far, wherever you are, I believe that their heart does go on.
Come on, Celine.
Some more.
Yeah!
You
Come on, Jack.
open the door, and I know that my heart will go on, go on and on.
It's perfect.
Wow. Wow.
Spot on. Perfect. I thought Celine was here with us.
What was the other one? Yeah, Leah's clapping, clearly clapping through the window. What was the other one called?
That's the way it is.
That's the way
Or
it
the
is.
power of love.
What's your favorite?
Oh, jeez. Let's do the power of love because then we've got the lurve going on there.
Power of Love. I kind of wanted to like.
What do you want to compare?
I wanted to.
You can't play it on Twitch. We have muted.
No. Power of Love? Just
Yes,
power?
the power of love.
I'm hearing a the.
Maybe it's power of love.
Why don't you just look up Celine
Yeah.
Dion?
The whispers in the morning of a lover sleeping tight are holding on like thunder now as I look in your eyes. I hold on to your body and feel each move you make. Your voice is warm and tender, a love that I could not forsake, 'cause I'm your lady, and you are my man. I'm done.
Did you know you'd be doing this tonight? Did you have any idea?
I did not know.
To be fair, Leah gave you zero information about this show, which we determined
You should have
beforehand.
warned me, Emily. They're gonna make you do Celine Dion impressions. No, I brought it on myself. I'm the one who brought Celine Dion up for the record.
Well, we're coming pretty close to our time, but there is a very important oh my God. Dear God.
Are people all about my Celine Dion
People love you,
impression?
Celine Dion.
Hold up.
Hold up. Okay, we're holding up. But then we have a very important question. Oh, I know.
Are you going to accompany me right
He's
now?
going to try. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so here for it. Here we go.
Hey, Luna Spanner Levi. Thanks for coming to hang out.
Cracked. Oh, C sharp minor.
What song is this? That's the way it is. Here we go.
When you want it the most, there's no easy way out. When you're ready to grow and your heart's lifting down, don't give up on your faith. Love comes to those who believe it, and that's the way it is. That's the way it is. That's the way it is.
That was first on this show.
That was the first.
Yes.
That was the first time we've approached Celine Dion.
Ryan Poole on the piano, everyone.
Spammer Levi says, whoa, she's good.
Thank you.
That was the first on the show. It's the first time we've done
So,
that.
as an
Celine Dion.
expert on the topic, we would like to ask you. There was plenty of room for Kate to just hold on to Jack. Why'd you have to let him go?
Oh, okay.
That's some bullshit and everyone knows it.
It wasn't a full door. It was just at the top of the door frame.
It was pretty wide, though.
And he tried to get on there, and then it didn't work, if
That
you
is
remember.
true. People do forget he tried to get on.
He tried to get on, it was wobbling, and they both started sinking.
You know what he could have done, though? Just kept holding on to the side as
Well,
he
he
was
did.
when they were talking.
He did, but then he died of hypothermia. He
Yeah, no,
froze
his
to
body was in... He died before she let him go.
Are you saying that's what happened?
That is what happened.
That is what
I guess
happened.
that makes sense.
You literally saw him be frozen.
No, he
and
died.
sink.
He died,
I
and she
thought what-
fell asleep, and
Now,
she's
to be
holding his
fair, I
right
was
hand.
10. To be fair, I was 10. What I thought I saw was him like, never mind.
You haven't watched this movie in 22 years?
Correct.
To be fair,
Ryan,
that's probably
this
true
is
of
a problem.
most people.
Yeah. I watched it. Titanic was such a... Did you see it in theaters? Were you old enough?
Actually,
Were you
I think
old?
my family went to see it in a drive-in. Mom, if you're still
Wow.
watching, please confirm.
I mean,
She typed just a minute ago.
27 means 5 years younger than me, so you were only 5. So that's... You
What
and...
year did it come
No, little...
Do we know?
I don't know. I was born in 92.
Well, I know it was 1998. I was
Okay.
10.
Okay,
I
I
remember
was 6.
those details very clearly.
You were born
All
in
right.
87.
I was in 5th grade. Correct. I remember all those numbers. But the
Yeah.
point is I saw it in theaters 4 times. It was such...
4 times?
4 times.
Wow, as a 10-year-old?
Yeah,
As a
it was such a
10-year-old
fad.
guy?
This
I
was
saw
your
it with my-
choice?
yeah, I was sister. I saw it with my sister and my aunt one time, and I don't remember the rest. Corinne said she sees it 5 times. I only saw 4.
I mean,
Luna,
I've seen the
I can't
second
promise
half of
that.
it like at least 11 times just because of being up late
practice
at
your
night.
accent.
Your mom says yes, it was a drive-in, and you were asleep when it ended.
I'm sure I was.
You didn't even know Jack died.
I have
You
seen
had to be
the movie
told
plenty
later.
of times.
They didn't want to
since
tell you
then.
when you were
back of
5.
the-
They didn't want to tell you. You're all, what happened to Jack?
So
and you're
I
like,
fell
Jack
asleep at the
and
drive-in when I
your
was
mom-
6.
Your mom was
Okay.
like,
Wow.
well,
That
Jack and Kate.
disqualifies me from having an opinion.
Jack and Kate.
They both survived and lived happily ever after.
Exactly. I know Ms. Summers, and she would say that.
You know her,
One-
okay.
Yeah.
At this point,
100%.
we're BFFs.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
said
no,
it.
you've been talking for all of 2 hours.
1,000,000,000%. She is like, she's that kind of mom. She told you they lived happily ever after, and it wasn't until you were like 7 that you found out the truth.
Oh, not until I was 7.
The
2
harsh,
more
harsh
years.
truth.
It's a long time.
I don't know. I mean, I probably, when I watched it, I probably had the scene with the foggy hand on the window.
They're like, what's happening?
fast
They're
forwarded
drawing
over.
pictures on the window.
I mean, to be fair though, I only saw the made-for-TV
She
version.
confirmed. She says, "I told him it was a happy ending."
Yes! I fucking told you I know Miss Summers.
See, Luna.
She is cool.
Oh, that's
She's cool.
so funny.
Pittsburgh mom. And
I don't remember that.
this is 98, right? So 2 years later, you're not worried about Titanic anymore. It's Y2K now.
Yes.
You're all, everybody's freaking out.
Oh, yeah.
The world's about to end.
It's about to be overcome
and so at
by
that point, she'd be
robots.
like,
Oh wait, no,
"Yeah,
that's
Jack
today.
slipped away into the night. That's how your mom talks.
Slipped away into. I don't think that's
Slipped away into the night.
I don't think anyone talks that way.
With my southern church lady hands. Slipped away into the night. Just like Brad Paisley after you tried to run him down with your car.
That's true. Remember that time you tried to murder Brad Paisley?
Oh
I sure
yeah,
do.
yeah.
You sure are branding this episode. Very well done. We're done.
I really hope that's the actual title.
I
of
hope
that.
we can make that.
I'm ready for it.
There's like an 85% chance it's the title at this point.
Yeah, I think it's solidly. I'm super into it.
Okay, he usually makes the titles.
I do.
And I'm pretty sure that now that he's on
If he
board,
can get me
100%.
into it,
I mean,
yeah.
it really is clickbait. You're not
It is.
wrong
It's
about that.
Emily Summers attempts murder on Brad Paisley.
Dude, in
First in
Nashville,
broad
Brad
daylight.
Paisley,
Yes.
like, there's like a
Premeditates
20
a murderous
in
excursion.
Nashville. There's a 25% chance Brad Paisley hears this episode.
He does listen to every episode.
It's true.
And I am only 2 degrees of separation away from Brad Paisley through
That's
Atlantic.
right.
1 degree. You try
Just
to
like
murder
me,
him.
just like me
Right,
and Kevin
that's right.
Bacon.
1 degree.
1 degree. Yeah.
Oh, but we do have a question.
What is your
Oh, I
question?
forgot all about this.
How could you
Yes.
forget about this question?
Ooh, we should have a theme song for this question.
All right, go for it.
A theme song? For
I don't
the
have one
question.
off the top of my head.
Is it a Celine Dion song?
I could come up with one. I go.
We'll have to come up with that fair. Because here's the thing: we have one question that we ask every single guest on
All
the
right,
show.
I'm ready.
Every single person we ask this question to. We've gotten good answers. We've gotten bad answers.
I will
We've
not
gotten-
give you a bad answer.
We've gotten dumb answers. That's bold because you don't even know what the question is.
I'm ready though.
Okay. Are you writing the theme song, Ryan?
I have a strong leading here.
Am I here for the creation of the theme song
might
for the
be.
question?
You might-
Now we have an
I
intro
feel honored.
song, but we don't have a question theme song yet.
Keep talking.
Oh, but normally this is where I ask the question.
Oh
and
wait,
I
are
need
we
you
in
for
a
that.
worship service? That's the only time when there's music underneath talking.
So if you felt, well,
Fell down.
if you felt like you were being spoken to today, I want everybody to
wanna
close their
invite
eyes,
you.
bow their head.
Yeah. Just without looking.
With nobody looking around, all eyes closed and all heads bowed. Just
Oh, it's so
silently-
easy. It's so easy to make fun. Oh, it's sad. Oh man, what's the question?
I can't reveal what this song is.
He says stream's getting weird.
This song is very apropos. You just don't know it yet because you know the question.
The stream is getting weird. How long have we been live? Like 2.5 hours?
Is it? What time is it?
9:30?
Nice. All right. I'm
Ask the
waiting,
question, jury.
waiting patiently.
Thanks, Chris. No, I need you for the question.
We'll come back. We'll come back to this song, and it's gonna all make sense.
Okay,
It's
I'm
come
here.
together for everybody.
Right.
So
Go on.
If you had to choose,
And you do.
and you do.
Okay.
Now the thing is, the important thing to note
Preface.
prepare you
Okay, I'm
properly.
here.
is this is an answer that can't come from here.
And to the podcast listeners, he's pointing to his head.
Yes.
It must come.
And to the
here.
podcast listeners, he's pointing to his heart.
Now the thing is, everyone has an answer.
But not everybody knows they
Not
have an
everybody
answer.
knows the answer.
Okay.
Not everybody.
Okay.
Okay.
In fact, I would say, according to our probably as the leading researchers in this field,
We are the leading researchers in this field that we invented.
I would say a strong 99% of people don't know.
They
that
don't know they have an
answer.
answer.
They don't know. But they do.
You're in Hold on, Luna. You're in California.
You guys are
That's where
really
we're
good at
from.
stalling for this question.
That's where we're from.
Luna.
She came in. She's new today.
Luna!
Me and Ryan.
Have I told
are
you
both
my
from
Luna
San
story?
Diego.
Luna, you
Did
have
tell you
a
my Luna
cool
story? Did I
name.
tell you?
Luna story?
I have a Luna story. Yeah, it's about this guy Peter Sellers.
When
who
I think
used to
Luna,
work
I think
for.
Lovegood.
Yeah, right. Harry Potter. Went straight to that.
No.
I'm sure everybody does.
I
I'm sorry,
worked with this guy
Luna.
named Peter. He was like a middle-aged man, and I went to his house, and he was supposed to give me a check for some video work I did for him, and then he couldn't find his dog, and his dog's name was Luna, and he was like, Luna, and by the way, he's like a 63-year-old Jewish man, the nicest man you've ever met in your entire life. He plays songs to old people. He's so sweet. And he's like,
Very
Luna,
nice.
Luna, where are you? Then he goes outside and he's like, Luna, where the hell is my dog? And he comes inside, he's like, Ryan, where the hell is my dog? Luna! And he's running down the street, Luna, where is my dog? And then he's like, hold on, and he calls his daughter,
You're just like waiting for a check.
who is older than me. Yeah, I'm just waiting for a check. And he calls his dog. And by the way, we're like $1 million house in Del Mar or Rancho Santa Fe, somewhere like
Fancy
that,
San
right?
Diego.
Yeah,
Okay.
fancy. Yeah. And he's like, Luna, where's my dog? And he calls his daughter, and he's like, I don't know her name. Let's say Denise. Denise, have you seen my dog? Have you seen Luna? And he's like, uh-huh. You took her to the park? You guys are there now.
Is he from Boston now?
Okay. Are you? No, he really is.
Oh,
he is literally from Boston.
Oh, well done then, sir.
Yes.
And he's all. Okay, you guys. Are you guys coming home soon? Are you coming home for dinner? No, that's fine. Okay, well, I'll see you tomorrow, sweetheart. Okay, goodbye. Fucking people. No joke. And I'm like, whoa, that's his daughter he's talking about. He's like, she didn't even tell me she took the dog.
Oh my god.
Funny story. So then he paid me and we were fine. He found out Luna was okay. And he paid me.
Multiple dogs named Luna.
And I went on my way and found out later, I was telling this story to a mutual friend of ours, and he's like, well, this guy was Scottish. And he was like, he's in the mob. And I'm like, what? And he was like, I'm not going to try to do the accent anymore. I've drinking too much to do a good job. But anyway, he said, although that should help you with the Scottish accent, shouldn't it?
It probably should.
He's like, that guy's in the fucking mafia. He used to work. I was about to do it. I'm not going to.
That was more Irish,
Nope,
yeah.
that was a
Yeah,
lie.
right.
I
I'm
could
telling
already
you.
tell.
What was this guy's name? Colin Klein. He used to work in the fucking mafia.
That's
Anyway,
good. That was not bad.
But he's like, that guy used to work as an insurance adjuster for the mafia.
Insurance
And when they
adjuster.
correct,
adjusted some
he
people's
was
jobs.
paid off. No. I mean, they would. He's like,
He was a scammer, yeah.
they'd fucking burn down a building, and he'd come in and he'd be like, oh no, it was an accident. He's like, Peter's daughter tried to marry somebody he didn't want, and he fucking tried to have the guy killed. And now, meanwhile, to me, Peter is, and by the way, this is his real name.
Well, you maybe shouldn't.
It's just a
Maybe you
first.
shouldn't out the guy.
Probably not. But no one listens to our podcast.
The cops are all listening right now. All right, they've spoken on Peter. Move in, everyone move in.
His
Move
first.
in.
Okay, how many people in the U.S. are named Peter? A
Who
million?
live in Del Mar in $1 million house who are connected to the
love
mafia
the
who's
name
Jewish
Peter.
from Boston? One.
Stop bringing this up.
One guy.
The point is, anyway,
Chris says, what the fuck? Edit this out.
he was the nicest old man, the nicest little old man who played songs for senior citizens, and he fucking worked for the mob and was crazy, and I saw it when he's like, Luna, where's my dog? Where's my dog? Fucking people. That's my Luna story. So, anyway. So,
That was a long story for not a big payoff.
what would you say? Well, it was a great payoff. Maybe I didn't tell it good because I've been drinking Kraken. The payoff is, first off, this guy was insane, and the second payoff was,
he lost his
turns
dog.
out a
Did
year
he ever
later.
find his dog in the
she
movie?
I
She was at the
told
park.
you in the beginning.
Okay, you're right.
His daughter had the dog, and that was the point. The point was, it was not a big deal. Here's what the story was: the daughter took the dog, but his reaction was insane. Like he lost his
almost like he's
damn
murdered a fool before.
mind.
Almost like he murdered Brad Paisley.
You would
Yes.
know. You tried.
I tried.
As a cohort of his, but then,
Yes.
but then a year
Plot twist,
later,
we
I'm
know
like,
each
this,
other.
to me, this is just a weird moment where I'm like, the sweetest old man who plays songs for old folks had this weird moment where he was angry and it didn't make sense to me. And I found out a year later he was in the goddamn mafia.
Wow.
Wow.
That was the payoff. I didn't do a good job because I focused too much on trying to do a good Scottish accent. That
accent,
kind
yeah.
of ruined it. I appreciate
Your Boston
that.
accent was good. Your Scottish was a little weak.
Thank you. We have
Scottish
my
was
dog,
really
Brian.
more Irish.
And anyway, he's a nice guy.
Irish.
He's a nice guy, and the point is that we have a very important question, and not everybody knows they have an answer.
It's been like 30 minutes. I am ready for this
That's
question.
how good
Not
we
the
are.
longest
Do you know
it's been
how
since
good
I
we
asked
are at this question?
We're
We're the best in the world at this
Yeah, this
question.
specific thing.
Yeah,
Please ask a fucking
incontrovertibly
question.
the best at this question.
So here's the deal. If you had to choose,
And
And
you
I do.
do.
And I do.
Now, what I mean with a good answer is it must be quick,
Okay.
no delays,
Okay,
no
okay.
thinking.
No delays. I'm here.
from the heart.
from the heart.
If you had to choose,
And you do.
and you do, What would you say is your favorite kind of turtle?
Tortoise.
That's not even a turtle! That's a whole different species!
Snapping turtle! Because they're badass. Snapping turtle.
I don't know this song, no.
Teenage Mutant Ninja
How many people say Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle?
We've had two.
Two people.
Turtle power!
Turtle power. Snapping
the
turtle.
song would pay
I
off.
have a happy memory of a snapping turtle.
Tell us.
This is
Yes.
what we say.
This is what we say.
We say no one knows they have an answer until they do, because everyone has a turtle story.
You're right. You're so right. Okay,
Anyway.
so when I was, I have two turtle stories. So I lived
That's
in
good.
Florida.
Perfect question.
I lived in Florida for almost 4 years when I was a kid. From like
Your mom said
seventh.
Russian tortoise.
Oh.
Whoa.
Well, that's because she has one.
Liz Summers jumped in
Yeah.
with an answer.
Because I bought her one. She had a tortoise when she was a kid named Patches. And
Is this the second turtle story or is this the third?
This is a tortoise story. I'm going into the turtle story. Tortoises are different.
Land-based.
Yes.
For
He
the
knows.
podcast
Jury
listeners,
knows.
I'm biting
He
my
knows.
fingernails with trepidation.
Yes. Trepidation. I'm here for the vocab. No, she had a tortoise when she was a kid named Patches. And she always used to talk about this tortoise and how much she loved him. And so for Christmas, like 4 or 5 years ago, I got her a tortoise.
That's awesome.
Yes, and
Tortoises are super smart, too.
his name is Edgar, and he will probably outlive her, which means I will probably inherit
Yeah, don't they
him.
live to be like 110 or something crazy?
I don't
But
even
he's
know.
gonna outlive you too.
But he's a
Which
Russian
means
tortoise.
your kids will inherit.
That's
him.
awesome.
So so that's exciting. But
This is a
anyway,
multi-generation tortoise.
so we lived in Florida for like 3.5 years, from when I was in like 2nd grade through 5th grade,
Okay.
and within like the first week of us living there, we had there was a Hurricane Irene, and
Kind of remember that.
really,
Just
was
the
that
name.
something that was in the news?
Well, on the West Coast, we don't.
We always hear
on
about
the West
hurricanes.
Coast, we
Well, I
hear
don't remember.
that they
I don't
exist,
remember
but we've never
Hurricane
seen one.
Irene being
Yeah, I've never seen a
particularly
hurricane.
bad.
Okay.
But we lived on a
Probably
lake.
wasn't. It's just every time a hurricane happens, the East, like Florida, tells the West Coast like the name. And then
Florida
we're
tells the West
oh,
Coast.
Irene. Yeah, Florida's like, and we're like,
Okay, cool.
this one's called Irene, and we're like, okay, Irene.
We'll just continue living
Irene.
here where it's perfect. It's fine.
But we remember the names. We never forget. Never forget.
Okay.
Hashtag never forget.
Hashtag never forget.
elephants.
So I remember Irene
Okay.
and lots of other
Yes,
names.
I'm
Go on.
sure you do. So we were there for Hurricane Irene. I'm sure you remember.
I remember she was a bad one.
Oh yeah, that was probably like October of like I don't know.
Obviously.
97?
2000, probably
2000.
year
That's what I was
2000.
gonna say.
Yeah.
That's right.
I bet that was spot on. I bet it really was October of 2000.
Somebody Google it and type it in chat, please.
Mom, please figure this out for us. Anyway, I love how my mom is such a big part of this podcast. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
So,
This is the best
parent be so big
yeah,
part
we've
of
never
life.
had a
Yes.
mom be this like central. This is very
We
good.
had like wives and husbands and stuff. But,
Yeah.
We like this. This is great.
so we were like driving down this main drag in Pembroke Pines, Florida, and there was this turtle that was like trying to get across the road, and it was during this hurricane. The poor thing was gonna die, and my mom is such an animal lover, so I'm sure that she was like, Wayne, we have to stop the car. We have to get the turtle. So we stopped the car, and we got this turtle named Irene, and
You named the turtle Irene.
we named
After
the
the
turtle
hurricane.
Irene after the hurricane. Correct.
Nice.
That's cool.
Yes,
That's
and
cool. I
we
did that.
lived on a lake at the time, so we put her in our backyard by this tree, and she just sat around like eating lettuce for a few days, and then when the lake receded, she like went back into the
Went on her
lake.
merry way.
But I said snapping turtle because there was another time that we rescued a different turtle
Wow.
that was also crossing the
You guys are a little
road.
turtle philanthropist.
We were turtle rescuers.
So is this the
Wow,
second
you were
turtle
close.
story?
This was the second
October.
turtle.
It was October, but it was 99.
I was 1 year off.
October 11th.
So close. Thank
Hey,
you
Tatch.
for figuring that out. Anyway, there was a different turtle that was also crossing the road that we also rescued a little later, and it was a snapping turtle. And I remember I was really afraid of it, but it was in the trunk of our car, and it like extended its neck down underneath the bottom
immediately
of.
before you said that, your mom typed, "Oh my God, its neck."
It was so long. It extended its neck underneath the bottom of the chairs in the back seat and like went up. And I remember it like looked at me, and I was so terrified because I was like, how is this turtle head looking at me when it's in the back seat of like the trunk of the car? How is this happening? I swear its neck was like 2 feet long. It was ridiculous, but I was impressed.
Scavengers are dangerous too.
I
Take a finger off.
respected that turtle. I respected the shit out of that turtle because it knew what was up.
It did.
It was there. It had snappers. It was ready. So we rescued him.
Hold on. Your mom said no. It was at her feet on the passenger side.
No.
That's what she said. It's your mom. You disagree with your mom?
Yes.
She probably knows better than you because you
Miss
were a
Summers?
Baby. You're a baby child.
I was
You were like 7.
No, I was like 10 at this point.
You were born in 90.
Okay, maybe I was like 8 or 9.
What year were you born? 90 what?
92.
92.
But early 92, February 5th.
So you were 8. You were 8.
It was the beginning of 92. The wee hours of 92.
Wee hours.
And the 99. So you're 7. Your mom's what, like 30 at this point?
She had me when she was 3. Yeah.
No.
No. If she's
that'd be
30, that means
23.
23.
At that point, okay, yeah. She.
Math, Emily.
No.
I'm going a little young.
Yes, I got
crazy.
off the road
No.
and put it at my feet. We
She
were
was
in the van
like
so
40
you
at
could
that point.
see it.
Yes, your mom knows better because she was an adult. But also, Miss Summers, if you can confirm if you were 23-ish at the time, I just made it up.
Random.
That would still mean she had me when she was 15.
No.
No.
If she had you at 23, so she was 30 when you were
No,
7.
she had me when she was like 31.
What? Really?
Yes.
Well, that makes me feel better about
She
myself
said
as an
at that
old
time.
man.
She said she was 40 at that time.
Yes,
you
that's what I said. I said 40.
You telling me a 40-year-old woman doesn't remember better than a 7-year-old child where the
Hey!
damn turtle was? I'm on Miss Summers' side.
I remember the
Next
turtle
week
being
we'll
in
have
the
Miss
trunk of the
Summers
car.
on the show.
Yeah.
Is she in
Correct
Pittsburgh?
all the errors.
Is she in Pittsburgh?
Yes.
We'll fly her out, and we're
Do it.
Our podcast doesn't have that kind of budget. Scratch that.
It would be great if we had her on here one day.
That'd be amazing.
37. I knew she was younger than
No,
40.
she said, yes, I had Emily when I was 7. No, 37.
No. What?
I know, Tats, but I wasn't going to say that because you're young.
You were 32. No, you were 31. You were 31.
A friend of mine who watches the show also lives in Pittsburgh. I wasn't going to say that, but you outed yourself.
Outed myself.
No,
as if
he
it's,
outed himself.
as
where
if
he
it's
lives on
something
the internet.
shameful.
I mean, I'm not.
Excuse me.
Well, he's from Lithuania, so not from Pittsburgh. I don't know. It's different. You know, he's a world
Pittsburgh.
traveler. Violin player.
You're just digging your grave.
It's not West Philadelphia, born and raised. You know what I mean?
On the playground is where I spend most of my days. What is that? What are you
You
doing?
said you were born when she was 31.
Yes.
That was
That
you
was
playing Twinkle Twinkle
very
Little Star
aggressive.
on the violin.
Day 3.
Day 3. That
When
was
your
a
mom
day
took it
3
away.
version. Yeah. What
Was she
happened when I
listening for
was
that
singing?
part?
Huh?
What happened when I was singing
I don't
Twinkle
know.
Twinkle
You
Little
were
Star?
just screaming over there, and we had no idea what was
We
happening.
really
I was
didn't know what was
playing it
going on.
majestically as a 7-year-old would play it on violin.
Okay. We've gone a lot of places in this episode.
We have.
I feel like
It's
we're in
been
the
a
middle of
good
something.
time. It's been a good time.
Right?
Yeah.
But
As Music Row Hideout
yeah,
always
I
is.
always ask people after. I'm
Except
like,
sometimes
so,
when it's not that great. But mostly it's amazing.
It's always been great.
It's mostly
we've had a couple
amazing.
of weird ones,
a
but
couple, but mostly it's really good.
like the
Like
last
this. This is a
episode.
really good one.
It was a good
Yeah,
one.
we
It was a
got
good one.
deep. We got shallow.
We got
For
wide,
sure.
Those are both the depths.
Wide and
near,
narrow.
far.
That's true.
Wherever you are.
Wow.
I believe.
Brought it back. That was good. That was not a bad impression. It's Celine Dion. Wait,
I'm
do
a
that again.
pro. No, it's a one-time.
No, you do it, Jury.
It has to be
Celine Dion.
natural. I can't force it.
I'm sure you can.
No, I just tried it. You gotta listen back if you want to hear me hum it.
It just comes to him.
The trick is that you have to.
Celine.
The trick, if anyone's listening that wants to know how to do a good Celine Dion impression, you just have to like pout your lips a little bit while you're singing, and you have to put an R into every value. Yeah. it is. You got it.
Your mom would love to meet us, she says, when she comes into town on October 22nd for your show.
She is. She's coming to Rocky Horror.
Maybe we'll all go.
Oh, wow. Maybe
My
so.
mom
Maybe
is
the whole
coming.
show will go.
The
Yes.
whole show. Musical Hideout field trip.
You heard it here first. All listeners of this show, if you're available October 21st,
First Musical Hideout meetup.
that would be great.
22nd.
Emily Summers' production of
Rocky Horror.
Rocky Horror.
The Rocky Horror
If you've
Show.
never
The
seen
Rocky
Rocky
Horror.
Horror, you are in for a show. Because
It's gonna be really good.
fucking wild. It's a
I'm
wild. Have you ever
very
seen Ryan?
excited.
I
It's
might have seen
wild
part of the
show.
movie. If
It's
I remember,
awesome.
it's very trans. Am I not wrong? It's very transy.
I mean, sure, if you can like qualify levels of trans.
Yeah,
What level would you say it is?
Very is what you qualified it as.
Yeah,
Jesus,
if I don't
Ryan.
remember, the main character is
He's
like,
a sweet transvestite,
A transvestite.
from transsexual
So that's
Transylvania.
And
If
That
the-
is very.
if the main character is a super transvestite, sorry, sweetheart, and it's a horror show, that's very trans. to
You
me.
seem like a person who's never seen the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
yeah.
I haven't seen the whole thing. No,
It's-
no.
it's a lot.
I think I remember when
I've
I
only
was
seen
a
the movie,
little
I've never seen
kid.
it live.
When I was a little kid, it was like a big deal. Like
Yeah.
there was all these people who would
Yeah,
always
because
see it
you were
on
born in
Halloween.
the 80s because you're old.
Yeah, it's true. I was born in the 80s because I have a sense of culture. I almost went like full gay. It was just like, bitch. But I can't say it as a straight man, so I'm going to stop.
Yeah, it's true. Otherwise, if you say that as a straight man, you are just an asshole.
A piece of shit. But as a gay man, you can. But I'm not, so I can't. So, but when I was a kid, Rocky Horror Picture Show, I remember was like the thing. Every Halloween, they'd be like, on the radio, like, this 91X and the Rocky Horror Picture Show is going to be on this
That's
week.
perfect
We're doing
timing,
it."
Oh,
too.
yeah.
That's where
It was the whole
For
thing.
sure.
It's a crazy.
But yeah, I think the movie would play every Halloween, like little bits, but I never watched the whole thing. All I remember is like a guy. It wasn't like a transvestite as much as it was like a guy in drag.
Yeah.
It was clearly
Yeah,
a
the
man
thing is-
acting like a woman.
No, the thing is, like, you're trying to qualify it.
it's
You
just
just gotta watch the movie.
Yeah, it's just a crazy
No,
outfit.
there's no way to put the Rocky Horror Show in a box.
You
It's
do,
its
Tad,
own
for sure.
thing.
We'll have you on the
It
show.
I
exists
felt a little hurt
independently
that I
of
was called
everything
a
else in
man
the world.
who hasn't seen Rocky Horror Picture
That's
Show.
how you're defined now.
But I just realized it was by somebody who's literally in the play. So
I am in the show. Yes.
as a super qualified
but-
expert of the show, you're saying you probably haven't seen it, and I'm like, yeah, maybe I did.
Well,
when I was
no, but
5,
to
I
be
don't remember.
fair,
That's fair.
I didn't see it until this last April. I had never seen it because I knew that this theater company, Circle Players, that I've worked with before, I knew that they had Rocky Horror coming up, and I knew that the director was like considering me to play Janet in Rocky Horror, and I was like, I don't know if I want to do it. I haven't even seen the movie. Let's watch it. And so my mom and I went to Florida for Easter weekend, and we decided to watch the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And my mom was like a part of the generation that made the Rocky Horror Picture Show as iconic
big
as
as
it
it was,
is.
yeah.
Yes, she was like part of the generation that developed all of those ridiculous call outs and dancing and everything. So we watched it together, and it was really fun. So yeah, that was just this past April, but that was the first time that I saw the show. So
you shouldn't watch
just
the movie
not
first. You should just go
judging
see
that
it
you
live.
haven't
Good
seen
to see
it.
there.
No,
Any
it's going to be
questions?
I've never
crazy.
seen it.
Is Janet the main character?
She is.
She's the main girl.
Yes.
There's kind of two. But
Yeah,
she's
I mean the
yeah.
main character is Frankenfurter. That's the man in drag. He plays.
Okay.
So it's played by Barrett.
But then there's the guy and the girl.
Brad and
I don't know
Janet.
the guy's name. Okay,
Brad,
Okay.
yes,
I didn't know
Brad
the girl's
and
name. To be
Janet.
fair, until you said it, I was like, that sounds familiar.
What is the
been a long-
main
it's been like
song
15 years.
from this?
The main song?
Like the
Time
biggest,
Warp.
Time
Yeah.
Warp.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
How does that go?
Let's do the time warp again. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've heard it.
Okay. Yeah, I know I have. It's been so long. I feel like this is hitting such a part of my childhood that this is like this is like
Touch,
Rock
touch, touch, touch Me
105.3.
is one of my favorite
Yes.
songs.
Who said
Classic.
that? Who said that?
My wife.
Your wife. Okay.
My
Corinne?
sister.
Yeah.
Corinne. I get to sing that as Janet. I get to sing Touch Me. Yes. And the man who plays Rocky Horror, who I sing that song about, and two, is 18 years old. No, maybe he's 19. I don't know. But yeah, I was
There's
nervous
a
about
person
that.
named Rocky Horror. in
There
the
is,
show?
yes. So the premise is that Frankenfurter, he has this lab and he's basically like a mad scientist, and he creates a man
Dr.
named
Frankenstein.
Rocky Horror. And
Okay.
yes, and so Rocky Horror is this like really buff dude who is just
he must be.
meant to satisfy Frankenfurter's every desire. Yes, yeah. So
Was that
anyway.
an impression?
No, that was just it's just what it is. That's how you have to say it when you're describing this movie.
Desire.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah,
you'll
so
see it.
Janet
It's
and
crazy.
Rocky have fun, and that's what the song "Touch Me" is about.
So from what I
Fill in the blanks
gather,
yourself.
this is a slightly spooky Halloween theme.
Very overly sexualized.
Yeah, I was gonna
But
say
in
that.
like a really campy way.
Yeah, it's very campy.
Yes.
Very campy.
Yes.
Sexual, campy, weird, creepy, but funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super funny.
Picture
It's
show.
definitely a movie that doesn't fit into another category.
It does not
It's
fit
its
into
own
a
thing.
category.
And
It
that's
doesn't.
why
That's
It's
why
its own.
it's so unique.
It's this
yeah.
cult
Yes.
classic, and
Yes.
everybody goes sees it Halloween. This is
Yeah.
one. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, that's a really cool show. to
Okay.
be
So
part of.
drawing it back, when is the premiere of that show?
October 18th
And when does it play to?
to November 2nd. And we have 2 midnight showings.
Oh,
That's
when
going to be
are
really
those?
fun.
Halloween is Halloween one of them?
No, Halloween, there's a showing at 7:30. And there's a costume contest on Halloween.
Ooh, we
Yes.
should go to that. I want
So
to do a costume
come on
contest.
Halloween, bring your costume. It's going to be great.
I thought
gonna
we
be
were
a really
going
good
with your
time.
mom on the 22nd.
Where are we going with your mom on
I'm
Tuesday?
pretty sure the 22nd is on a Tuesday.
That might be rough.
If you go on Tuesday the 22nd,
be
you can
difficult.
hang out
Come
with
the
Ms. Summers.
following Thursday. So come the 24th, that Thursday night, we will have a show.
Or Tuesday with mom.
No, there won't be a Tuesday
At this
show.
point in the show, if you meet Miss Summers, you're a celebrity.
Celebrity.
Okay, and when does your EP release? Are you still
don't
working
have
on it
dates
now?
Yeah, I don't have a hard date. I wish I did.
Are you
But
currently working on it, or
my-
is it done?
I'm
or-
currently working on it. Yeah, so we've
Cool.
tracked all of the guitar
Lance
and all
Van
the
Dyke,
vocals. Lance Van Dyke
hero
is
of the
engineering.
world.
Correct. He is a hero. We've tracked all of the guitar, all of the bass and drums, all the vocals, all the lead vocals. So we just have BGVs and strings
Which
left
for
to
those
track.
outside of Nashville,
Means
LA or New
background
York.
vocals.
Correct, yeah.
Background vocals, BGVs.
I don't think people
Yeah.
would know that.
So we just have like the auxiliary stuff left
Yeah.
to record. And we actually are saving some stuff for a cool event that we have on November 9th.
That's my birthday.
Really?
Yeah.
You're invited. It's your
Yeah.
birthday. You get a free ticket.
Oh.
So November 9th, and you can have a +1. Maybe it'll be
Probably
Ryan.
my wife.
You have to
y'all.
choose.
I'm hanging out alone at home, I guess.
Yeah.
Dog.
Can I come to the show?
Yes, you can.
And what is it?
November 9th, we're having an exclusive event at the Castle Studios for our last recording session for the evening EP. We'll be doing the very last finishing touches on the EP, and then we're going to celebrate with a bonfire party back behind the castle. There's a big hill
That's cool.
with a bonfire.
I kind of want to go.
Do it!
Yeah, I've recorded at the castle before. And it's a great place. If you've never been to the
Yes.
castle, it is a castle-ish looking place. It's all concrete or brick.
Formerly owned by Al Pacino.
Really?
False. False. No. I'm gonna help you out. I know you weren't born until '92, so you don't get it. That's fine. It was owned by. It was not. Okay, here's the real story. Who you meant was Al Capone.
Al Capone, I'm sorry.
That's very
Al
cute.
Capone.
different.
Al
Your mom
Capone.
knows the difference.
Different people. Al Pacino, actor.
We've had a lot of you know this. You just had a lot of
Al
cracking.
Capone.
It's okay. It's okay.
Thank you.
Not an
Thank you for
actor.
correcting me. Thank
it was
you.
not.
Stone?
Here's the thing. It was not owned by Al Capone. But I know why
Wait,
you would
what,
think that
Corinne?
because I kind of thought that too.
Al Capone gave flowers to your grandma.
That is a story our grandma told us. Yes,
Oh.
and it might be true. Not more. Different grandma.
We'll see you
Okay.
tomorrow.
Let's go into this real quick. Al Capone. Step one. Al Capone was a gangster in the, I think, 30s, maybe 40s too.
Yes.
The biggest gangster of all. From Chicago.
Time.
Yes.
Yeah, the
Still,
best
to
known
this day.
gangster.
That's
Okay.
who I had in mind. I just had the wrong
No,
last name.
Al Pacino.
Yeah. Okay. The greatest known mobster gangster of all, Al Capone.
Correct.
Okay. Now, to Corinne's point, when we visited our real grandma before she died, Gay Poole, her real name was Gay, she told us that Al Capone gave her a orchid when she was an O'Carroll girl, which was a kind of dancer back in like 50s line dancing.
Sure.
Like the girls that have like
what's that
really
called?
short skirts
That's
and they
called,
kick their legs up in the air.
Yeah.
So
there's a name for that.
one of the really famous groups of that was called the O'Carroll Girls in Hollywood, and my grandma was one of them. And Alice. Oh, that's right. Alice Poole, gay for short or in her middle. I don't know. Anyway.
Corinne corrected you in chat.
Thank you, Corinne. I forgot that. I've met her like 3 times. Our real grandma, to me, my real grandma is my step grandma, but whatever.
That's a whole nother thing.
Alice Gay Poole is technically my blood grandma.
Ingrid.
No, she didn't.
Okay.
That's very below Ingrid. But anyway, Alice Gay Poole was given an orchid by Al Capone, the gangster. So she said, but she also dealt with mental illness, so who knows if it's true or not. Okay, back to Al Capone, gangster, 30s, 40s. He did not own the castle, but his accountant did.
Well,
Don't act dubious here.
Well.
I recorded the at the castle before you.
You know Lance, so I'm
I
not
don't know
questioning
Lance.
you.
but if
it
his
was-
accountant owned
hold
it,
on.
that means he owned it.
But it's a great
Yeah.
story. Okay, here's but it's better than just his accountant owned it. So it was Al Capone's accountant, but they believe it's like accountant for the podcast listeners using strong air quotes, and it's like one of his paid men, and it was and people believed it was one of his secret hideouts. But it was like owned by somebody else. You know what I mean?
Sounds
Like
right.
kind of incognito.
I believe that.
Yeah.
And they say that under the castle are hidden.
Bodies.
No. More things.
More things?
None of those things you said, but other things.
Dungeons.
Closer.
Murder places.
Passageways. That the castle studio had like hidden passageways to hide. And this is all Prohibition times. Because like a lot of gangsters came to power in that time because they're providing alcohol. So Al Capone, they say there are hidden passages under the castle recording studio. And it's like that Prohibition era, hidden passageways, the police are coming, but we're hiding our booze, and maybe this was one of Al Capone's hideouts. That is what's said at the castle. Looks like a castle. In either case, today it is a world-class recording studio, formerly ran by this other guy. I won't even say his name. Back when I recorded there, it was ran by a different guy, but now it's ran by Lance, which I'm so excited about, because he used to hang out here and have a room in my studio, and me and Lance work together, and he's the nicest guy in the
He's
world.
so
and
great.
so talented.
Yeah.
And he is working on your new CD, and
Yep.
you guys are doing a party at the castle. I'm like slowly bringing it back.
Yeah.
Doing a November 9th.
November 9th.
Celebrating the last. And do people get to come in the castle and like see the studio?
Yeah, so
And do they
we're
get
gonna
to watch you
we're gonna
actually
studio
record?
tour, and we're gonna have everybody that's there. We're gonna have everybody in the main part of the studio. Listening on headphones to what's going on. They'll be able to see
Yeah, that's
Lance
so
in the
cool.
control room, and then me doing vocals in the ISO booth, and my violinist Jonathan playing violin and mandolin in the ISO
love
booth as
that
well.
idea.
So yeah, you'll be able to see what's going
I'm so
on,
jealous I haven't done that
witness a
before.
whole recording studio session, celebrate the completion of the EP, and then we're gonna go up behind the castle to do a bonfire. It's gonna be really
And maybe
cool.
find secret passageways.
Maybe find secret
And
passageways.
Lance, if you're listening, I don't know if you're listening, but Lance,
He listens
if,
to every episode.
if you Lance, did you get this idea from Mike Smith? Yes or no? You can text me. Okay.
I can say
moving
no
on.
because I had this idea.
You had this idea.
This was my idea.
Independently. Do you know who Mike Smith is?
I don't.
Do you
That's
know
a
about
very
this-
common name.
Yeah, but also a super well-known Nashville keyboardist.
No, I did not. I had the idea on
You just had
my
it.
own,
That's
independently of anyone.
That's awesome. Leah introduced me to Mike Smith. Now, I might be wrong about his name being Mike Smith. I haven't even met him. I've just been connected to him.
All right.
Anyway. Okay, so original idea, not Lance's idea.
November 9th.
So you didn't steal it. November 9th.
But he did approve
and
it.
everybody is invited?
We will
maybe
have
not
tickets.
everybody.
We will have tickets for it. It was one of the rewards on Kickstarter.
Okay.
So
that's cool.
Can we
yeah.
buy a ticket, or how do we buy it?
She said I get a free ticket, Ryan?
everyone
Jury has a free 'cause it's
pledged,
birthday.
everyone who pledged $75 or more got
one.
the ticket and a bunch of other stuff on Kickstarter. So we'll probably sell them for like $50. I don't know. I
She
haven't
said I
decided.
get a +1 though.
So is it not available right now? We can't.
No, you
Yeah.
can't really buy tickets right now. But like, if you're interested in
local,
going, just like send me a Facebook message or DM me on Instagram or whatever.
Or TikTok.
We'll work it out.
Not
Are you on
Yeah.
TikTok yet?
No.
What are you, 27? I'm like, come on, get on TikTok.
I'm an old woman. I'm not on TikTok.
You old maid.
She's not a maid. She's married.
I don't know what a maid is.
That's the
To
literal
me,
definition.
old maid is a card game.
Yeah, have you heard there's there's when you get married you can have a first or what's it called? What's the girl called when you get married? You know, maid of honor.
Yes.
Sure.
And then,
And then a
there's also
matron of honor.
Matron of honor.
Yes.
Which is someone who's married. A maid of honor is supposed to be unmarried. And
Oh,
nobody,
is that-
follows,
Yeah.
nobody follows that.
Yeah.
Oh, maid of honor, matron. I didn't
Yeah.
realize there was a difference.
So
Yeah.
we
Okay.
like in our wedding.
Okay. Lonnie was the
Lonnie was the matron of honor.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what they call it. That's why I learned that.
It's funny how old things like did so much designation of people's status and shit.
I know, right?
Isn't that weird?
Your mom says she has
What
to
are you talking
go,
about?
but she loves you. Drive safe.
Mom, you've been watching for a solid 2 hours. That's
3 at this point.
Yeah.
Bye, Miss Summers.
Well done.
She hopes she didn't cramp your style. You didn't.
No, you only made her style better.
Oh, thank you.
Her style was enhanced.
But actually, we're actually wrapping up it as well.
No, but that's great. Now
We
that
asked
my
the
mom's
turtle
gone,
question
I
like
can...
9 hours
Yeah, I
ago.
know. That's the one that her
Yeah.
ending question.
That mom's gone. Why are we even here?
Now I can be honest about
Yeah.
everything. Let's go on for another 3 hours.
We've done it before.
I hate Jesus.
Yeah, you're like, I'm like,
I used
I
all
was faking all of it.
I used all my Kickstarter money on
for
crack.
drugs. Yeah.
There's no record. November 9th is a big drug party.
I intentionally tried to kill Brad Paisley.
We knew it. That's going in the Instagram clip, 100% guaranteed.
And I've never been in any theater production ever. Wow.
Wow, didn't know all those things.
I
about
can't
you.
believe we wrapped up and proved you were a scam.
Yeah.
But anyways,
it be
guys,
known.
for the people who are didn't hear earlier, where can all the people find you? Not like in real life,
yeah.
on the internet.
Can we slightly
Look,
say it?
you gave out your mom's phone number earlier. I don't know how to.
Just
I
ended
gave
with,
out my
you're a
mom's-
scam, and then you're all right, thanks, guys. And here's where you can find this scam
No.
piece of shit.
Do not disparage
No.
me for giving out my mom's phone number. I gave out my
was
home
weird.
phone landline,
Right.
which basically
From when
only
you were
gets
a child.
telemarketers now. So I'm sure my
Which,
mom
to
would be
be
very
fair,
happy.
your mom
Meth
already-
labs in the basement.
Your mom has that number, right? Your mom will answer the phone.
Yes, but it'd be so funny if she got blown up
Everybody-
on the
that
landline.
would
You
for
wanna
be
give-
people
funny.
like-
Hold on. Do you want to give the number out one more time?
Yes, 412-835-6221. Call my mom.
Emily's mom.
One more time, because I want to do it.
412-835-6221. Call it. Yes.
And put it on speaker.
Do it.
We'll see what happens.
Oh boy, here we go.
This show even
We're gonna see what
become?
happens. This is not weird for us. This is normal.
This is not that weird
And
for
what's
us.
funnier is that it's
We've
an
done
hour
this-
later in Pittsburgh, so it's like 10:45
She
there or
has to be at
something.
work at 7 a.m. What are we doing?
No, 11:09.
11:09.
It's not that late.
She's not going to answer. She's sending us a voicemail.
We'll see. 412.
She's screening our
Wait.
calls.
Hi, you've reached the Summers residence. No one's here to take your call
It's
right
so
now.
true.
It's
It's a real number.
I
Is this
was
her
being
voice?
honest. Yeah, that's my mom.
She has a very pretty voice, Miss Summers.
Aw, did you hang up or are you leaving a voicemail?
Well, I hung up. Oh, we should have
left your voicemail.
Is she? Did she go to bed already? Is she still watching?
This is that
She
She's
just typed
probably-
you suck in
No,
chat,
she's
so-
probably in bed.
This
Still
went to a
what?
whole different message.
What the hell was that?
Did you hear that? It went to, this is Becky Summers. I'm on a call right now. And her name's Becky.
What? Yeah.
Spam dialing her
That went
mom.
to busy. That means she's getting a lot of calls right now.
Hilarious.
The whole audience is calling her.
It's going to be ringing all night.
I don't know. This time I'm leaving a voicemail,
Yes,
okay?
because
What
Music
should I
Girl
say?
Hideout
Something
is
about
so
turtles?
popular.
Thousands of people are
Yes.
watching. Thousands.
Billions. Maybe billions.
You know, Mom, someday when I am
like
famous,
30 or 40 people
I'm
watching
going to do
about
this
this.
again. I'm going to be like on stage at Madison Square Garden, and I'm going to give out your
Okay,
home phone
now we're
number.
knowing.
It's going to finally convince you to get rid of your
At least
landline.
more than one person was calling, because the last time I got the busy.
Hilarious.
Hi, Ms. Summers. This is Ryan Poole from Music Girl Hideout. It was so fun hanging out with your daughter tonight. She's so smart. You did a great job raising her, and I love that you taught her about turtles. And anyway, we don't have much more to say, but we are live on the air right now, and thank you for watching. And we hope you have
And
a great
goodbye.
entire life. You're awesome. Goodbye.
A great entire life. I love that.
A great entire life.
So you can find me at,
You know where to find your mom.
you know where to find Mom.
Her number.
Yeah.
You can find
Everyone
me.
knows how to find Becky Summers, but no one knows how to find you.
EmilySummersMusic.com is my website. And Emily Summers Music on Instagram or Facebook. Either one of those will take you to me. And yeah, just on Spotify or iTunes or whatever, it's Emily Summers.
It's all the places.
It's pretty self-explanatory. Yeah.
So we always go out with playing a song off like Spotify or something. So we'll play a song. I guess you have a whole album on Spotify.
You do. You have
What
lots
is your
of options.
preferred song?
You should play Wild.
Wild.
Yes.
Okay. You hear that, Ryan? He heard it. If not, he'll hear it in a second. But anyways, guys, thanks as always for coming to hang out. You guys are all awesome. We'll be back. We'll be back with the regular stream tomorrow. We're playing WoW Classic 11 noon tomorrow, unless I wake up earlier. And Overwatch if you guys want to join. And then next Friday, there is no Music or Hideout because myself and Karinsky23 are going to be in San Diego for TwitchCon, the convention. But we should be back the Friday after that with another episode of Music or Hideout. I don't know who our guest is then. I don't know if we have one planned. But we'll find one before then.
I can just come back. We'll have another 3-hour
We'll
conversation.
have Emily part 2. But as always, thanks guys for coming to hang out. And Ryan, do you have the song ready? And we will see y'all next time.